Howdy ho, people. Welcome to today's show. My guests today, I've had them on before. I'll have them on again. My brother, David, two really good friends. Interesting conversation. That's the show for today. I hope you enjoy it.
No?
Well, I don't know. My car, the CD player doesn't work. The CD player I have at home, I have one, but it doesn't work. I guess I can play it on my computer. But other than that...
Yeah, I guess, but I still buy CDs.
Yeah.
I still buy... Same thing with movies. If I like something, I will download it illegally first and listen to the music and whatever, right?
Yeah.
But if I really like the album, I'm gonna order it on Amazon or something.
Yeah.
Always. It's cheap. It's plus, man, I'm old. It makes me feel old because I have an attachment to the physical form of the medium.
Yeah.
So I grew up with having a VHS or a Betamax collection, right? Which my father did because he loved movies. So he had this huge collection of movies.
Yeah.
I obviously have a collection in DVD and Blu-ray, right? So I have an attachment to the physical medium, and I know I could just pay for the movie legally and have it a digital copy, which a lot of the DVDs come and Blu-rays come with nowadays. They come with another code or whatever that I never used, so you can get a digital copy. Yeah, and for music, it's the same thing with the CD. I think not having the CD, which a lot of them came with the lyrics, with little booklets and the lyrics and whatever. Not having the CD, not having a physical copy with the lyrics or with some information or like a picture of the something. And I know you can get it all online, but not having it and not having, the habit anymore of buying the album, going home and listening to it while you read through the lyrics and whatever.
Yeah.
I think it loses a huge bit of, how enjoyable it is to find new music and to fall in love with it.
It does.
Because it makes it very passive. It makes it like elevator music, You listen to it in the car because it was on the radio. All of a sudden, it's like
And you never listen to the whole CD.
Yeah.
Like if you have the CD, yes.
If you have the CD, you're gonna, at least once you're gonna go through the whole
you
thing.
Listen the
right?
whole thing.
You listen and you pick your favorites, and
Yeah.
eventually you start listening to the rest again, and so on.
But it used to be this medium which tied everything together. So it wasn't just music. When you bought an album, especially in the vinyl days where they had a lot of space, they could put booklets and they gave pictures away and stuff. It was like a bundle into the personality of this artist. So it wasn't just, we've got a set of songs and we're putting them out. A lot of artists thought, well, we've got these songs, but there's a theme to it, and we want the cover to express something as well, and we want the way that the lyrics are written to express. It's more and more and more thought and kind of art given to you that makes it easier to establish a connection with the band.
You had different mediums and all at the same place, all working together.
So that's gone away. And so has kind of the appreciation of music. Like music has gone to a sort of background tone in a big way. I think it's also because a big part of the connection that we were establishing was also in the physical medium of, hey, I made this and I put a lot of work into it, and you can see it if you actually open it up.
Yeah, exactly. And I miss that.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't buy any music. I either, unfortunately, download it illegally if it's like one-hit wonders, right? If it's like one song that I like. If it's an album, I'm gonna go and buy it because I want those things.
Yeah. And there are still people that put that work into it. There are, like when we did ours, we spent so long on the artwork of the album that we figured out what you need.
The ashtray.
Yeah. We figured out that there were parts on the templates and things that people don't even usually use. So almost every centimeter of ours was covered because just because of the amount of time that we spent working on it. It's like, oh, hang on a second. Why does nobody put anything over here? This could be fun. A little detail of if whoever buys the album actually has that, like you, for example, then you've got something when you're looking into it. You've got all these little Easter eggs that hopefully will also make you bond a little bit more with the band. I think that's the goal, right?
And if in the beginning when MP3 started coming out, and the music industry felt like it was obviously being attacked, right? So they tried really hard. I don't know if I don't see them doing that nowadays anymore. But they tried really hard with CDs to make the CD a really cool thing that came with a lot of stuff. Like I have CDs that come with their own DVD of the live concert. I have CDs that come with like an acoustic version or a B-side of the CD. You know, they tried to make it worth your while.
Yeah. There was more in it than just the music.
Yeah.
Exactly. But now I think they've pretty much given up on that, right?
Well, no one buys it.
Yeah.
Some bands still put the work in, but again, what I've noticed is people are now trending back to vinyl because it's like, at least from my standpoint, if I'm going to take the time to actually do something and put the work in, and I know it's for an outdated medium, I might as well use my favorite outdated medium.
Right.
If it's not going to sell, and it gives me for me, it's like a direct relationship with when I started getting into music. So that's my dream to have my shit on vinyl.
Right. And it probably lasts longer, right? Vinyl, as far as I know, can last.
I mean, I don't know
if you take care of it.
I think that there's physical degradation.
If you play it a lot, it gets worn out.
No, but the CD, doesn't it have physical degradation even if you just store it?
The CD,
doesn't it go bad?
No.
Are you sure?
No, VHS tapes go bad.
Yeah, that
goes
was
bad.
a problem with humidity and whatever.
exactly.
It would.
No, CD, as long as you keep it away from heat or cold or
it's gonna be fine.
CDs can last.
Yeah.
But there you go. I already didn't really like the medium because now you have to put everything, downscale everything. So the lyrics have to be so thinly printed that you can barely read them on these booklets, or there's just so many limitations that it's like, fuck that, I'll just do the big one and do exactly what I've always dreamt of doing.
The thing you did with the handwritten lyrics, which I'm sure you'll never do again.
Never again.
Exactly. But that thing was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, well,
right.
We said it was limited edition, and it is. That's never happening again.
Yeah,
that's the last time I'm ever.
How many of them did you have to do? Do you remember?
9 sets of 9 songs each.
Right.
And then they were all handwritten and then signed by every member of the band. But the other members just signed them. I had to write out all of the lyrics.
Yeah.
Because I knew if Sola had written some of the lyrics, you wouldn't be able to read anything.
Yeah.
Mine's not that great, but I mean, trust me.
It looks good.
But it was
Mine
cool.
would have been worse.
We were actually trying to think if everybody got theirs a couple of months ago. And we started counting, all right, these guys got it, these guys got it, these guys got it.
I got it.
All right, everybody that we wanted to got it, but we don't have any. So I don't have one, Tanaka didn't have one, Solo didn't have one. And
but you have something that is even better.
Yeah, well,
you have the books where the basis for all of this shit is, and it's all scattered around, and you don't know where. But
I've got some of them over here. I got projects, and I have the main template, the first one we did right behind you.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that one I did with Susie when we were just coming up with the idea, and I was pretty happy. But then I found them, or Tanaka and Susie found them at their house when they were cleaning up. They found 3 sets.
Oh, cool.
That were just left over. So they got to keep one. Solo got to keep one, and I got one, but I gave it to Pedro Bigio, our roadie. Because he didn't know if he still had his or not. He didn't remember, and I just said, "Here, just have it again."
Yeah.
But there you go. That's it. No more of those. No more of those.
No, I understand.
Yeah. 81 handwritten, and of course I don't write like 4-word lyrics. They have to be these massive conceptual bullshit.
8-minute songs.
There were some that had 2 pages. Some lyrics that had 2 pages of lyrics.
Yeah. 2. Yeah.
So that's 18 pieces of paper for one song. God damn it.
Tough.
Fuck that.
Yeah, but like I saw this. Where did I see this? On what's that pawn shop show?
Pawn Stars.
Pawn Stars, exactly.
Which one? The Las Vegas?
The Las Vegas one.
Chumlee.
Exactly. That one. Chumlee. So I saw that they always have these experts come in and check out signatures, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, because of what he was saying, how much he had to write all these things. And I was always wondered, what happens when, It's a president, and he has hundreds of shit to sign constantly, and letters here and there. He can't possibly, he would need a full-time job just signing stuff, right?
They had the president especially had a secretary who signed stuff for him.
Exactly. But nowadays they have, and they differentiate between things that were actually hand signed by the president, which some of them are, right? And things that are auto-signed by something that I never really understood, still don't really understand what it is. But as far as I understand, it's a machine signing. And
No, it's a secretary. who
No.
learns
No,
the
you've got digital
signature.
signatures.
No, it's
You
a
put
digital
your-
signature.
You put your signature with one of those pads
Yeah.
that you draw with and shit. You
Right.
just sign it, and then you can use that as a
but-
file on any document you want.
Oh, you mean they can print it on any document as
you
if it was
digitally
signed?
sign it, so you don't
Okay.
actually have to print anything out anymore. They can
Right.
send you the document, you put your signature on it, send it to them as a PDF.
It's a
And
lot
there you
less
go.
interesting than what I imagined. I
Yeah.
imagined like a tiny, really cool-looking
Robot.
Xerox machine robot that held a pen
Yeah.
and copied it somehow.
It's a printer.
That's
It's
what
kind
I,
of a
exactly.
robot with a pen.
That's what I was imagining.
Yeah.
Not a
Sorry.
PDF and
Yeah.
a file. And,
Yeah.
digital.
You
Yeah,
could
you-
even just take a picture of your signature, and then there are some programs that can trace that, and then that's your digital signature.
Going back to the music, you
Yeah.
were talking about outdated mediums.
Yeah.
If you think about it, the vinyl is the most modern of the analog mediums.
Hmm.
They don't have a more modern analog medium of storage. It's just that
right.
everybody
Right.
saw that digital was the evolution of analog when it really wasn't. It's just a different format.
Right.
Yeah.
But in the analog recording, the vinyl is still the most advanced technology. Right?
I guess
I don't
so.
know. I have
guess
no
so,
For
idea.
for mass production, I mean,
It's
not as
tricky.
in
You-
recording equipment.
It all depends on what you're actually trying to go for at the end of the day. But because you have tape as well, and like cassette tapes and stuff like that were around after vinyl, I think. Because first you had the printing plates, those big plates that the gramophones then had to read back, and they were big, thick things with deep grooves, and that evolved into vinyl. And then I think magnetic tape came out afterwards. And that's what was then used for most recordings.
But that's for the recording studio. But
yeah, but then playing back would be cassette tapes. So cassettes. It's a battle between either vinyl or cassette. In my opinion, they're both different. Cassette kind of deteriorates a lot quicker.
and it doesn't have the same quality as the vinyl.
Oh, it's got badass quality, yeah.
Does it?
Yeah, again, the problem with analog is it really depends on what you have.
Yeah.
Because it's a physical thing. So if whoever printed this chose cheap shit, then yeah, it's going to sound like shit. Like those Barbie cassette tapes that came with the dolls and stuff like that. But then the same thing goes the other way around. If you had good tape and a good construction to it, it could be fine. I mean, you remember this era better than any of us.
Funny, isn't it? I remember, but I only really remember the degradation. Definitely cassettes. I mean, other than every time it happens, and it happened rather frequently, that it would get all tangled up inside your player. That was not good.
Yeah.
Right. You knew, and you would get. You would learn how to cut. You would learn how to edit, basically.
Yeah.
It was a very basic version of editing, because you would have to learn. You would cut, and then you would try and cut here and put it back together.
Yeah, so it didn't kind of miss the beat.
Exactly. So you would learn that. But yeah, quality was really good, and I experienced both on the same sound system that my parents had, and it was a Bang & Olufsen sound system, and it had both the CD, the vinyl, and the cassette player in the early 90s.
All right. Yeah, full deck.
Exactly. So I got to experience on the same system the sound quality, right? And I don't remember there being much difference, other than I don't know. I think there's always a little bit more background noise in vinyl because of the system itself of scratching the vinyl, right?
I think that all depends on. You're absolutely right. There's the biggest issue that most people have with vinyl is hiss, and the more you use it, as it is a needle that's going through physical grooves, it is taking things with it along over the years, right? And again, depending on what sort of tape or vinyl reader you have, what sort of needle you're using, how careful you are with that shit. Like if you buy a brand new vinyl and you've taken care of your needle or the head, right? I can't remember the specific name.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean. If you take care of that, you got a good one of those. You got a good record player that you can like shift weights and balances and speeds and shit on it. And you're careful with it, then brand new vinyl, you put it on, and it barely has any hiss at all.
Okay. So that comes from the grooves getting deeper and deeper,
and dust setting on it, and shit spilling on it. You know, it's
right. Okay. Well, but cassettes, both VHS, beta, and music cassettes, it's all the same technology, right? Yeah. They all get worse with time as well. All of them, because they're gonna pick up humidity, or a little bit of heat will completely distort it. It will get bad over time as well, unless you're really, really careful.
And just getting played.
Right. Just getting played. Exactly. Yeah. Don't you? No, you don't remember. But
I used cassettes.
No, but I was gonna say you used cassettes,
yeah,
right?
that was my first.
But I was gonna say, don't you remember with video clubs? You know, renting like Blockbuster and stuff like that. Don't you remember that you would get a fine if you brought in the cassette without being rewinded? This was a thing.
That was early.
That was early. That was in the 80s, right? In the 80s.
I didn't have it, but there were those cars that the convertible cars.
People would have separate machines at home just to rewind and not play, because when you rewinded inside the VCR, right? The magnetic band, as far as I understand, of course, the reader wasn't connected to it, but it was rewinding at a certain speed, and it wore down the mechanism to fast forward and rewind. It was mechanical, right? And it wore it down. So in order not to do this, not to wear down your main VCR and break it down and whatever, you would have this separate other thing that could not read, could not do anything other than rewind, and they would make it look funny like cars and stuff. I don't know, man.
One which was a convertible red convertible car.
Right.
And you just shoved it in and it went
rewind.
I saw it as a kid in many different houses and different car models and different colors and everything. It was a thing. You could have this, but there were cassettes and everything, like your answering machine, right?
Yeah.
Your answering machine had one of those tiny cassettes that you would have on those tiny recorders.
We didn't have an answering machine. The phone just rang and nobody wanted to pick it up because it was never for you.
Right. No, we had answering machines.
That was not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely, there was degradation in all of them. Apparently CDs, no.
I think you might be right. The best kind of analog technology, not necessarily the most modern, but I think the most reliable one in that sense would have been vinyl. Because if you take care of it, then it can potentially last you longer.
Yeah. And it's easy to take care of.
Because it's tricky.
But I got a question on vinyl for you. Maybe you'll know, which is, so the needle, as you were saying, that reads the grooves on the vinyl. So nowadays, it's this really, really tiny thing, it's really precise and whatever. But if you go way, way back, and I'm not talking, way back, like gramophones.
Yeah.
The needle in a gramophone looks like a nail.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
It's huge. So my question, which I never really understood, is, was the vinyl different? It had to be, right? The vinyl had to be different to be read by such a big needle.
Absolutely.
So I could not take a gramophone record and try and play it today, or vice versa.
No,
right?
you're absolutely right. It's the old gramophone records had these giant grooves and giant dips.
Yeah.
Because it was that physical needle that was going over, and that was connected to the horn, and the horn was literally just a horn.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the only amplification that happened as soon as you manage to get the digital side of it, of conversion, because there is kind of some sort of a conversion.
There is a conversion in a gramophone,
really
but it's mechanical.
Conversion. Exactly,
it's mechanical.
A gramophone is mechanical.
It's got a digital amplifier to it, though.
These
turntable. The gramophone is just the needle connected to the big horn.
Yeah, it had no amplification.
That's
it
all there
didn't have
was.
Electricity to begin
Nothing.
with.
No electricity.
You wound it up.
Yeah. Which is one of the things that makes me really, really like it. The idea that you can play music on an instrument with no electricity, you can just wind it up.
Yeah.
I really, really
like that. But it sounds
that.
really shitty.
I know, but
it's coming through a fucking horn.
Could make a modern version of a gramophone. Yeah. You know those batteries like for flashlights that you wind up?
Yeah.
You just wind it up and you have an LED flashlight working. They should do that. modern, right? With a battery and a wind-up mechanism or whatever, and a modern gramophone, which no one would buy other than me.
Yeah. So ask Bruno to build it for you.
Exactly.
But yeah, what happened was as soon as you managed to have that amplifying power, or an amplifier connected to it, it means that the signal, the amount of movement that you needed, the strength of the original signal could be a lot more sensitive. So it means that tiny needle, if you don't plug it into anything, you can still hear it play. If you just put the record spinning, the physical thing is happening there, but it's so much smaller and less intense because you've got this massive unit then giving it all the power and bringing it through. You don't need it to be strong enough to reverberate a giant needle, right, to make it shake at all the right frequencies and then to be played out of a horn.
Right. I love
so
the
that's
horn.
kind of what's changed. Yeah, the horns are awesome. I agree with Pedro, though. I mean, the sound quality is
terrible.
It's nostalgic. We can put it that way.
Exactly.
If you want to listen to music like your great-grandmother used to listen to music.
Yeah. I will someday. I always wanted to have a gramophone, so it might happen someday.
You're gonna end up on a porch in a rocking chair with a gramophone.
Yeah.
But my question is,
that sounds pretty good.
You've always had awesome things, right? In every kind of era, whenever there was something, there was always this amazing version of it.
Well,
generally speaking, there was always a high-class society that if it was an awesome thing, they wanted to have the best. So they'd hire the best
but
smith.
But it wouldn't necessarily
time,
be technology.
Yeah, for
exactly.
a long time, rich
technology.
people just had prettier things.
But
that's my
everybody lived
question,
in the
though.
shit.
Or
Nobody
I
had a
would say
fridge.
for a long time, rich people just had things.
That's
as
my
opposed
question.
to the peasants, which had
Because
nothing.
You don't have that much shit to do back then, right?
Yeah.
You're not really going anywhere.
No.
And if you were these guys that had a shitload of money, you're not working the fields.
No, but they're
So I think- What do you
investing
mean you're
in
not-
ornate furniture and
Of course, but there you
bigger
go.
houses
So
and
you're
mansions
spending. They're spending a lot more time with these things. So I can only imagine they're spending more time admiring or thinking about them. And I do think they'd be more sensitive to certain differences than us. Like
Right.
with an eye for these things. And again, in that time, if gramophones were huge and then they all got into gramophones, they'd go to the best gramophone maker. And that was literally a man that spent all his time figuring out all
They
the
had
details.
a Bruno. We have a Bruno.
And as with everything, there would have been a lot of money on that guy. He would have been Italian or French or German probably, or English, I don't know. Anywhere with a lot of money in these high society things. I think that maybe there's this version of a gramophone that's unbelievable compared to what you had then.
Probably.
Meaning it might not just be like shit recordings. Maybe there's something that's actually really, really nice in there.
Yeah, Well, like everything else, if you really go deep into it, we might find like a gramophone that was the best at the time with a type of record printing that was the best, and this.
It's still gonna be shit.
It's still compared to what we have. Exactly. It's like
I just think there hasn't been enough time. It wasn't a thing for enough time, maybe, for there to be that much of an investment.
Yeah,
but it kind of feels like gramophones came out, and then very quickly after that, records came out.
It wasn't very quickly.
I don't
It
know.
wasn't very quickly.
No, when we can look that shit up.
Yeah, you can look
now.
that
We've
up,
got
but I
internet.
think it wasn't that quickly. It just seems that way because you didn't live through the gramophone.
I think they had a gramophone for a long time.
I think they had because it didn't require electricity.
Yeah.
If you wanted to play a record, you needed to be in a house with electricity.
So the gramophone, according to Wikipedia, or no, it's ThoughtCo, was developed on November 8th in 1887.
Only?
1887.
1887.
But wait, is that the mechanical one, or is
Yeah,
that
but
the
wait.
electrical
People
one?
having electricity in their homes only started becoming common,
in the 50s?
Yeah, after the
60s?
war. After the war. Before the war, it was only for rich people in some places, as far as I understand it.
Yeah.
So,
There are still people here who probably don't have electricity here in Portugal.
yeah, well, I get a feeling that there's a village somewhere isolated because I've seen it,
Yeah.
but it's clearly not common.
Just
clearly
people
not
who don't
common.
pay their bills.
So the phonograph, the phonograph was invented in 1877
Right.
by Thomas Edison.
But that was an electrical one.
No.
No. It was
This
a
is
physical one.
the same as the gramophone.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we can kind of go through here because they've kind
No,
of
just find out when the
It's also called a gramophone, and the trademark started in 1887 as a generic name in the UK. Since 1910,
Right.
Yeah, the gramophone became the generic name somewhere between 1910.
Right.
And then since the
Marketing.
40s, the
Exactly.
record player. Since the 40s, a record player incised or impressed into the surface. Right, that was how it was made.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to find
The lifespan of it.
Yeah.
Or,
In
you
the
know,
1980s, phonograph use on a standard record player declined sharply due to the rise of the cassette tape.
in the 1980s. Yeah, okay, but just find out when. Exactly. So that's the problem. But they're using gramophone as
the whole
as the
description
whole
for it. I'm
description for it.
trying to-
We need to find out the next step. You know, when it isn't a gramophone, it does need electricity and a needle instead of a nail.
Yeah, I think with Edison it would have been the electrical one because I'm pretty sure it existed before that. I think they've had it for a long time already. I think the analog ones, the ones that they used to
Yeah.
wind up, I think that's something they figured out pretty early on.
I don't know.
It's not that advanced a technology. It's pretty basic.
Well, it's a question,
I mean,
matter of perspective.
Well, the self-playing piano is from like the 1600s or something.
Yeah,
you know?
but the self-playing piano is easier. Self-playing piano is
I don't
easier
know if
because
it
it
is.
is. I'll explain why. Because they already had music boxes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
these cylinders with pins, right?
Yeah.
And you turn the cylinder and it makes the different pins move in certain ways and different notes. And it played a specific tune. You would even, before this, it competed with the gramophone, this technology I'm talking about. And you would buy these cylinders. Each cylinder had just one song. And it played just one song, and you would remove it, put it back in. So they had this technology, and the mechanical piano does the same thing. It is limited to certain tunes that it will play. The only difference is, while this cylinder with the pins is turning around in there, instead of little metal things that play different notes, it's not hitting that. It's hitting a mechanism that makes the piano keys play.
The piano though, they have a paper roll with little holes in the paper.
Exactly.
And it's blowing
paper
air
hole.
at the paper, and then it only gets
I've seen those where
Yeah.
you can even see inside and see the
yeah,
paper roll.
the roll is rolling, and as it rolls, different holes are in different places.
Right.
And the piano is just constantly blowing air, and it'll blow through wherever the hole is and make that sound.
Really, with
Yeah.
air.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
That's
It doesn't
cool.
make the sound with the air.
No,
the air pressure then hits a mechanism that pushes the key down.
Exactly. It
Right.
pushes the key down
Yeah.
according to where the hole is in the paper.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. The gramophone basically had about 100 years of use because the turntable was introduced somewhere in the 30s or 40s.
Right.
And then it was only really in the 60s that it took off, according to the toprecords.com.
Okay.
And because the radio apparently they were saying that the radio kind of took over in the 30s, and gramophone
People started
use,
listening to radio
Exactly.
instead of their own records.
And then in the
yeah.
60s they got the stereo playback. Because it's funny, I don't know if you guys know the history of stereo. So we've always had two speakers.
Yeah.
And one is left and one is right.
Yeah.
But if you go back to early records, like the early ones was all on one track, meaning if you had two speakers like this, the same thing would be coming out. Then when they discovered stereo, that they could split things, it wasn't used as left and right first. It was sort of info on one, like you could put vocals on this side and then the soundtrack on that. Like the Beatles' early records, you still have that.
Yeah.
Where you've got one
Right.
thing on one side, the
Yeah,
other thing
yeah.
on the other. And it was only until some years later, I think as recently as like the 60s or
Oh yeah, it is that
70s,
reason.
70s
I was
maybe.
going to tell you why. There's a lot of cars in the 50s and 60s where you only have one speaker in the center, and it's usually in the center console between the two front seats. That's where you have one speaker and one radio above it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
There you go.
It wasn't stereo yet.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere in the 70s, if not early 80s. But I think
Right.
70s is probably on the money because that's when Sgt. Pepper and stuff starts coming out, right?
No,
And
Sgt.
that's-
Pepper's 60s.
Is it still 60s?
67.
Oh, but anyway.
67, 68?
Something like that.
All right, so around there.
Stereo was a big deal.
But yeah, that's when one guy discovered, hang on, we can split this. And actually, if you put half on the left side, half on the right, and you put them at a certain distance from you, you sit in the middle, you get both. You get
Yes.
the mixture of it. So it's cool that it wasn't actually that way to begin with. We were still just.
But the funny thing is,
yeah.
they did the same mistake. I'm gonna say mistake because think about it. Stereo, right? It comes from two sources. You have 2 ears, right? It kind of
Exactly.
makes sense. They made the same exact mistake with eyeglasses. Why were these people wearing monocles? Why, if you have 2 eyes, why do you want to see out of only one of them? I do not understand.
I've actually thought about
and
this.
eventually some guy came along and, hey, this works better. We have 2 eyes.
But I think it's a
What the hell?
common thing with people with eyesight issues that one of their eyes is okay and the other one is screwed up.
What? That's called denial.
It's not. It affects your eyes differently in some cases. Like maybe only one of your eyes really
but
has the issue.
You're never gonna. Okay,
So nowadays we use the glasses. One of the lenses isn't
it's
doing
different.
anything.
No, but no.
And the other
I think
one,
they're different.
It depends.
They
It
might be different, but it's never gonna be like one eye is 100% eyesight and the other one has a problem. So
I
you
think
need a
it does
monocle.
happen.
Yeah,
I think it does happen.
Really?
Where,
Yeah. People
And-
have very different problems
Really?
in different eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or-
Okay, but just correct me on this. If you only have a problem in one eye nowadays, you're not wearing a monocle, right?
I don't know. I
No.
think I would wear a
You think you
monocle. I
would?
think I could rock the monocle.
No, that's why in the
I
glasses,
would rock the monocle. Yeah, you would.
that's a question of style. But with glasses, if you have both lenses have different,
Yeah.
what's it called?
Graduações,
Graduação, yeah.
temperament or something. I don't know.
Whatever.
Yes.
So yeah, and people have different stigmatism,
Mhm.
and so short-sightedness and something at the
Yeah.
far away as well.
But you can have you can have different things in one eye from the other.
You have to. Most people.
So you can have like be nearsighted on one eye and have stigmatism or whatever in the other.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
A lot of people have both. And then that's when you get people with really thick glasses.
Right.
Because they can't see shit anywhere.
That always reminds me of the mafia guys in the movies, the old guys with the huge, thick glasses.
Yeah.
And I think it's also, if you talk to anybody nowadays that's losing their eyesight, they're always in denial. And I think it
Yeah.
wouldn't have been different then. So it's like you still can't see shit. So you have one little thing of when you actually need to read or something.
Exactly.
You pull it out, and then the rest of the time, that's why everybody's so serious in all those paintings. They're just squinting to try and see. They're not actually posing.
But people are always in denial about all of these things that are, health related, or not even necessarily health, but related to their physical appearance more than health. I think, like eyesight. I think it's more about having to wear glasses that people go in denial about. They try not to wear glasses because obviously it's not convenient, right? I think it's the same thing a little bit about baldness. People try and stick with it for a long, long time and pretend they're not bald and the comb over and saving those last.
The comb over is awesome.
The comb
though.
over is awesome, but it's people trying to hold on and being in denial. And
I don't know.
Eyesight,
I don't
think,
know.
is the same as the comb over.
I wonder if there aren't some people who have a comb over who just know they look really good. It's like they own it,
I think no one looks really good, but I do think some people might think that they do look really good.
And what does it really
and
matter?
that's awesome.
And
if that's what you think, and you think you're rocking it out, and that's how you
Exactly.
feel, then go for it.
Exactly. I mean, what matters at the end of the day is how
All
how
that
you
matters is
feel,
how
right?
how it makes you feel, of
If
course.
you think that you're rocking it and it feels awesome,
do
then,
it.
do
it.
I always loved Trevor from GTA 5.
Yeah, of
Remember him?
course,
His
of course.
hairstyle. Yeah, he
I
had a
remember, I
brilliant
remember.
hairstyle.
Wow.
I could
That's a
see
good
myself with
hairstyle.
that hairstyle. It's a
Mad
hair-
scientist sort of
Yeah.
hairstyle.
Yeah, with a little bit of a meth addict in there.
That was a great character.
We should all
That
get
was a great
addicted to
character.
meth.
It was.
I really remember I was afraid when that game came out because it
Yeah.
was the first time they decided to do this thing with 3 split
Yeah.
characters and you played with all of them and you go in between one and the other. I was really afraid of that when I was watching the reviews and going, oh man, I don't think I'm going to like that.
it was
Turns
really
out it
good.
was awesome.
It was brilliant.
Turns out it was brilliant and they played differently and they were completely different people.
That's one of the questions I've seen a lot in the gaming industry is whether movies are going to exist anymore in the future. Because the games are just going to take on more and more story and better
Yeah.
graphics to the point where why would you watch a movie anymore?
Well, but they're going to exist because the same thing we were talking about before. I don't know if it was recording or not with the music industry. How people are no one. The game requires a commitment, is what I mean. It requires a long commitment. It requires hours and hours, like a book, right?
But you could have shorter games.
No. You can't have a 2-hour game like going to the movies.
Why not?
No one will buy it.
No one will buy it. Yeah,
Not necessarily if it's a
won't.
different kind of price, like going to the movies.
Yeah.
Or maybe we could go to the movies.
It's definitely
and
an
play a game.
experience that gamers would appreciate, but you have to remember that there's a lot of people that don't want to put that much effort into it. There's a lot of people that play Candy Crush and Farmville.
Exactly. So I think the movie is still going to be around.
They want to do something, but when you go and watch a movie, at least even for me, there's certain times where I don't want to be involved. I want to just sit and watch and let it happen. If it's always something that you have to be interacting with, I think that there's always going to be the need for
exactly. If you want to be involved, you play a video game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So video games will definitely develop into the realm of cinema more and more. Like now, you've got actors playing roles and CG and everything.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to go.
And it's got huge production. It's insane.
Of course,
it's
but
insane.
I think that movies are already losing out to video games. And that trend will continue, but they're not going to go anywhere. I think you'll still have plenty of movies.
Yeah. Especially with the possibilities coming up in CG. I think we're definitely getting to the point where they might start making movies with actors that have passed away, and I mean they've done in scenes.
I don't know
right?
if
They've
I
done
want
a
them
scene.
to do that. Though.
I don't want them to do that.
It depends. It depends.
Because it's not him.
I know it's
new
not
actors.
him.
They're alive now. They're looking for work. Pay them. You might get a really good actor out of that. In 20 years' time, the guy that you paid instead of having make-believe Charlie Chaplin.
Pretty sure, I know. You're right.
It might be the next Charlie Chaplin or the next.
You're right, but I'm pretty sure the
Nicholson.
studios are dreaming.
Oh yeah,
dreaming.
But it won't work.
Of not having to deal. No,
100% remake.
and not having to deal with the actors. Not having to deal with prima donnas or not even prima donnas. The actor got sick or he got hurt or he fell off.
But that's the thing. It won't work because you're basing yourself off of the physical appearance of somebody. Right. And with actors, think of Jack Nicholson. If you pick up his physical appearance and put anybody else playing that body, it won't be what he is. It'll never get to that.
No, you're
ever.
right.
Yeah. And even if
it might
you
just work in a scene or in a commercial or a cameo thing.
Exactly.
But it might not work for a whole
movie. In a long
movie,
you change out the personality of Jack Nicholson and you just leave that body. You're not going to watch it.
But it's creepy though. Have you seen these deep fake things?
Yeah.
Yeah,
those things are insane.
Yeah,
it's
and that's where I would agree with you generally, but since I've been seeing some of this shit, I don't know.
That's why I wouldn't put it past them, the studios and so on.
It definitely wouldn't be as good, right?
Yeah.
But it's getting very, very, very possible that is almost the same as having the guy there.
But let's say that graphics aside, we can get the graphics there. That's where we're really close. Somebody is still going to have to play that character, right?
Yeah, but
somebody's going to have to tell them what to do.
You've seen the Joe Rogan robot and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Joe Rogan robot?
Yeah, so some guys made a robot that sounds like him. So now if you have enough information on someone, so if you've got enough hours of recording,
right,
you put it in this program and it basically can imitate or copy the person. It can sound like them. And with
so it sounds like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, it's you can tell it to say whatever, and it has a massive database, and it just randomly sorts everything through on what.
Yeah, right. But
what
it's the problem. It's going to have the problem that a machine has. It's not going to be Joe Rogan. It's not going to come up with certain ideas and certain things that all of a sudden it thinks, I just saw the other day, and
it'll
come
use
up with
his voice.
It'll use his voice, and it might use things that he's already said. It's not coming up with new ideas to make it possible to actually.
Yeah, it can. Like, you can give input for what you want it to say. It just won't have the spontaneity of Joe Rogan.
Right.
He's going to say a word a certain way, or he's going to, that's the personality. That's the same thing you pay an actor for. I mean, there are some actors who are paid on physical appearance.
I found it. I think you guys should be able to hear it.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. It's going through the other speakers.
To us, it's just going to sound like Joe Rogan talking.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the point, right?
I hear it, yeah. So this isn't him talking.
No, this is the
But
program.
is it pre-recorded lines of his and words that the program mixes together?
As he has tons of podcasts,
Yeah.
you've got hours and hours and hours and hours of him speaking. I think you need something like 1,000 or some ridiculous amount of time. And then the
build a
program
big enough
itself,
database.
yeah, the program itself then analyzes all of that, or I don't know if they chop it up or stuff,
Right.
but I imagine it's a program. Sort of recognizes words, and their programming has told it how to sort of generate speech.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I'm
I
sure
don't
this
know
program
how.
has a lot of human supervision because this sounded like a human talking.
Yeah.
And if it's just a program picking words from a database, it's
No,
not
no.
gonna.
No, so
It can.
they're writing the text that they want it to say,
Right.
and then it's coming up with it. And
Okay.
yeah, I'm sure they edit shit so that it sounds real. I don't know. I
Because
really
all of this
don't know.
technology seems to have a lot of potential, but it doesn't feel like it's quite there yet. Like
definitely,
translation and direct voice to text and stuff like that. None of that voice recognition in itself.
Yeah.
None of that is there yet.
But translation is always tricky, and it always has been because
course.
it's so subjective. They're so context related. You get two different people to translate the same book into another
Yes.
language, and they're going to come up with two different versions of that book.
Of course.
So for a digital translator to understand the context of what you want it to translate,
Yeah.
not just the word, is really tricky. But the speech to text, those are getting really good.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah, really
but
good.
it's none of it is there yet.
I
where
agree,
we want
100%.
it to be.
Nothing
you know?
it's not there yet, obviously. And
None of it.
there's always the sci-fi component of these conversations where
course.
we're like, it'll be next year.
Well, but that's
and
what
it'll
I
never
want.
happen.
I'm disappointed it's
Yeah,
not there yet.
yeah.
I wanted
But
to get there.
the
I
truth
want
is,
those. I want those.
it's not
Westworld
there
robots.
yet, but it's oh well, that's a whole different thing.
I know.
Even
But
though I
that's-
was seeing
that's what
some
I want.
prosthetic things now,
I know.
It's
Some
insane.
crazy stuff.
holy shit!
I know, but
It almost makes me want to lose my hand to test it out.
Sure. Go play guitar with a prosthetic hand.
But imagine if you could. Right?
Yeah.
Imagine in like 10 years if they managed to program these things with
so
like
good, and so
information,
precise, right?
So
Yeah.
imagine
Yeah.
you've been unlucky. You've had this horrible accident and both your arms are chopped off, and you get these prosthetic limbs. But then you can just buy a USB pen and plug it in, and it'll upload anything you want it to do. So piano, Mozart, any
Right.
song. You sit down and you give the command to it the
That is
same way
pretty
as
cool.
you give the command to press it, to use one of the fingers, right? And it just bursts out into playing Mozart.
Yeah, but when
That
that
would be
happens,
awesome,
right?
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That's when I finally get to play music and be a musician.
But when-
I'll have to,
This was one of the
to
questions
lose
that,
one of my limbs and get a really cool prosthetic.
This was one of the cool questions that Holden, a guy that I met in Scotland, put.
Yeah.
And I've used it a lot because it's a really good one. It's the question of if one of these limbs outperforms your natural
Yeah.
one, will you switch over to it?
Yes.
no, at this
I
point,
will.
why won't you change your
I
whole
will.
body?
Yeah,
I will.
Why
But
don't you
that-
just
but
turn
that
into
is-
a robot?
But that's the
that
question.
is the question. That's the philosophical question. And a lot of sci-fi, there's books, there's video games that deal exactly.
Sorry.
but it's oh, this just a lot of a lot of the sci-fi deals with this, which is the idea that prosthetics will be so advanced that people will start modding themselves. People will start modding themselves to a certain point. All of a sudden, you can get upgrades for yourself, right?
Yeah.
You can get.
But this is already
mean-
happening. People have been getting boob jobs for I don't
I
how
know,
long.
but that's not a
an
useful.
upgrade.
Well, it's not a useful upgrade.
It is to them.
It is
Well, it
not
gets
like
them
a-
much further in life.
There's easier.
It helps.
Women might, I wouldn't.
You've
There's
got
not much I can do with a boob upgrade, but there's a lot I could do with night vision and blades that shoot out of my arms and super strength and
jetpacks.
super speed. Well, yeah, but exactly. All these mods, all these things in video games. There's what's the game called? Deus Ex. There's a video game that deals exactly with this. It's an action RPG, and it's called Deus Ex, and there's 2 or 3 of them, and it's
Aren't
exactly
those
this.
motorcycles?
No,
They are as well. No, they
Deus
are.
Ex
Deus Ex
Machina.
Machina. Exactly. But the Deus Ex Machina expression and Deus Ex the motorcycle and the video game, it all comes from the expression. So yeah,
God is a machine, right?
yeah. Basically, but as far as I see it, it goes back a long way, and it comes from a philosophical question. So, but the upgrades for people, obviously right now it can't really be considered an upgrade, because if you get a prosthetic, it's not to that point where it's better than we are right now. But when it does get to that point, and it will get to that point, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. You got boobs on your mind, but no, it isn't, because real boobs and fake boobs are not the same, and they can be.
Fake ones are bigger.
Yeah,
but is bigger better? Is it? Is it? Are we gonna go down that road where just because it's bigger, it's better? You can see it from further away, so it catches the eye and more attention, which is what these people want.
Better.
I think.
the weird thing for me was,
But it isn't better.
You've seen those blow up dolls and shit like that.
Yeah.
And when you're a kid, especially like a teenager, and you're going through your hormones and shit,
The ones that look really surprised.
You try and find everything that looks like a boob, and you feel it, and you go, I bet this is what they feel like.
Yeah.
Right? And then when you actually feel fake boobs, it's like, it feels like those things that I was pretending were boobs, but this is actually on a woman.
Exactly.
It's really confusing. Some are amazing. Some of
Although-
them are like
Exactly.
tactile wise, they're amazing, but the temperatures where they're always cold.
Yeah,
always
they're not.
cold. It's fucking weird.
I'll tell you. So
It's not like
there's. I think like with everything else in my experience, like with everything else, I think it depends when you did it, where you did it, and how much you paid for it. Because I've experienced things that were obviously fake and hard and weird and cold, and I've experienced ones that were like what you described, which were, probably too big, and it felt right. It felt right, but it was cold. There was a temperature difference. And I've experienced ones where if I weren't told, I wouldn't have known.
oh
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm guessing, and since I can't say names, I'm guessing you get what you pay for.
I think
Like
so.
with so many other things in life.
Yeah,
So if you go to the best plastic surgeon in the country, it's one thing. If you go for the cheap boob job, which costs,
but see, this is
3,000 euros or whatever, 2,000 euros, the cheap boob job.
I don't even know how much does one of those cost.
I have
10
no
grand
idea, man.
usually.
But you see, but you see, I know that
I was in Florida. They're
I know there are
experts.
boob jobs for 1,500. So I can tell you. No, there are. There
Bags
are.
of rice.
Go and get a boob job in Brazil,
Oh, okay.
where
Yeah,
plastic surgery
it's
dominates,
huge.
and
It's huge.
I think I saw somewhere that the number three 18-year-old daughter present, father to daughter present, is a boob job in Brazil. So definitely cheaper.
We need to move to Brazil.
No, we don't. I think you're missing the point. I'm trying to explain that it is not a good thing. That it is not a good thing, and you should. But I'm not I'm the worst guy to talk about this, because first of all, I'm an ass man, and secondly, I think. I don't know, man. The whole boob job thing. I really think plastic surgery should only be allowed and used for reconstructive purposes. I can perfectly understand that you were in a car accident, you had,
Or if you got
breast cancer, whatever, and you want to look nice and look good again. Obviously, you have a deformed nose, whatever the fuck it is. Reconstructive, I completely understand. You have a deformity, a growth. I understand all of that. I want to look hotter, and I can pay for it. I kind of have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Assuming that even makes it hotter, though. Because
Well, clearly, you guys keep saying bigger is better. So clearly, these people are investing their money wisely.
I don't think bigger is better, but because to me there's a limit, right? There's a certain part where they're just too big, and there's too much there.
Again, I've heard guys argue that there isn't.
All right, well,
but
I
then
don't know
again,
about them.
anyone
I don't
knows,
know about
anyone
them.
knows.
But to me, there's a point. There's definitely a. Oh fuck.
By the way, the wine is finally
lost
drinking.
the
Yeah,
pace.
I've been drinking it. It's good.
It really needed to breathe.
I'm gonna take that segue into something else because I can't remember what I was gonna say, and it was probably offensive. What were we talking about?
Boobs and boob jobs.
Right. To me, there's a cutoff. To me, there's a point where they're too big. But honestly,
come on, anything bigger than a handful is wasteful.
Well,
it is. Okay, I'll defend this. A little bit bigger than a handful, so you get the frustration of never being able to completely hold it. More than that, come on.
Whatever floats your pickle.
Talking from like a
Man, but you know, it's like I don't know. I don't get it. I imagine boobs to women must be, you know, very, very different than they are to us because we don't have them. So we don't have to worry about size, shape,
Speak for yourself.
Symmetry, whatever the hell. Well, there you go. There you go. You know, but we don't have to worry about it, you know.
Yeah.
So I guess they get more into detail with it and things start making sense.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
For me, it's hard to imagine.
Yeah. On a personal
as
level.
As a guy, it's very hard to imagine the process that goes into it.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing with guys that want to do the dick enlargement.
No, but it isn't, because the difference is the dick enlargement thing is a really huge risk. It is only recommended if you really have a physical problem. There you go. It is recommended the way that I think plastic surgery should be done. If you have a real problem, where I don't want to be arguing about sizes because I don't know. I'm just not going to put that out there, but
which is your favorite size?
But exactly. But they recommend that it's only done in men that really have a really big problem. It's not recommended to be done in men where it's like, I really wish I had a bigger dick. It works fine, but I wish it were better because all of us wish they were bigger and better, and you know. Men like bigger and better. It needs to be the best, right? So if that happens, every guy would be fighting to buy the best equivalent, the best dick, and everybody would be paying to have the best dick.
Where would you stop, though?
It would never end. It would never end.
Three-legged.
Exactly. It would never end. Guys, but some women go that route as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how you wind up with what I'm guessing is way beyond the limit, which is what you were trying to say.
Yeah.
You know, that there's a limit. And I'm pretty sure some guys would go way beyond the limit because they couldn't control it. Like, bigger.
It's the same thing with asses. There's some guys that like huge asses. It's all a question of personal taste. But there you go. At the end of the day, if you're up for bodily augmentations in the mechanical sense, that's the female equivalent.
But no.
For
because
us, it's having a robotic limb that can shoot rockets.
Exactly.
For them, it's having bigger tits, I think.
No, but that's
or like
useful.
a better nose.
If I have night vision and rockets is super strength and whatever, I can do shit with this. What the hell am I going to do with bigger boobs other than attract more guys?
Yeah, get a rich husband. Never work a day in your life again. Get more plastic surgery. Spend your husband's money on cocaine. I don't know. The options are limitless.
But every single person that has gone down this route looks miserable about it, and they look very deformed. You know, they don't look natural. They look like aliens that try to incorporate themselves into human society. They don't look human anymore. They are. It's like, just the other day, I was watching this, I'm going to go with a politician, but you know Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House? Does she not look like she's had her face pulled back so much? Like, so much that... You know Brazil, the movie? That way. Yeah. I was looking at her the other way, and I was looking at her eyes, and I was thinking, can she blink? Is she able to blink?
She farts every time she blinks.
You know, exactly. How does that look better? I mean, come on. Just accept that. Do the best with what you got. That's what I do, right?
Yeah.
Do the best with what you got. I'm sure it's gonna be enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I think. I don't know.
But here,
I think it's unfair on both sides. It's unfair to the person that thinks that is worthwhile and it's the way to go and it's gonna change their lives, and it's unfair because that's the way it's being sold to them and that's how it's being exploited and used. You know, I think it is a bad thing.
There's a thing here where many men don't talk about it, but it happens a lot.
Yeah.
Hair transplants. We were talking earlier on about men going bald, right?
Yeah.
And you were saying just do the best of what you got. Lots of men, maybe even proportionately to the amount of women getting boob jobs, are doing the hair implants and not telling anybody about it, like keeping it a secret.
But hair, once you lost it, you got used to it, and you lost it. If a woman has boobs and has to remove one of them, I completely understand that they want to get it back.
Exactly.
Right? But I think hair, you're dealing with a loss. There's something you had that is disappearing.
So? Just like everything else.
It's not like a woman not having boobs and wanting bigger boobs.
No, but there's some women where their boobs kind of have a rough ride over life. And they need a little support.
Little pick me up.
Yeah, they need a little... It's not always the bigger thing. Sometimes it's reconstructive. Sometimes
of course.
A little nip tuck here, there, and everywhere to kind of put it in the right place.
But with hair, you were going to say that people don't talk about it. So
they
were going to try and pretend they didn't get?
No, I was going to take this back to what the most important thing being is the confidence of it.
Right.
So even a bald man with a really bad haircut, if he knows how to wear it, it's like, yeah, he's a badass.
Yeah, I get that. But you think, okay, a bald man that got this hair transplant stuff, and let's imagine, I never met him as a bald man. Would I know? Would I notice?
That he got a hair transplant?
Yeah.
Probably depends how long since the hair transplant.
No, obviously. Not during the phase where it's happening, because I've seen that, and that looks hilarious.
No, I mean after a long time of having done it, you look like you got scalped.
Really?
Yeah, you get like a huge scar across the top of your forehead.
I don't know if you do always.
Yeah, Joe Rogan got it.
Yeah, but that's it. It was different times when Joe Rogan got it.
Bald?
He is now.
He's giving it up.
Yeah.
But there's an acceptance process. They have to deal with this is happening. I'm losing this.
And I think it was different times. Like nowadays, hair transplants are very different from what they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
So my question is, will a man tell you that he had a hair transplant? Or will he pretend he always had hair?
When is it? It's not going to come up in conversation unless you know.
I don't know, man. Because will a woman tell you?
That she got a boob job? She won't have to.
A woman...
Like,
no.
Hello.
No. It's okay.
You weren't like, is that a new sweater?
No, I'm saying I didn't know them before. Like with the hair transplant guy. I didn't know him when he was bald.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, with a woman, if you touch it.
I don't know. I think the fact that we don't know confirms that there are people that have it that you can't tell.
Exactly.
A lot of people have hair transplants. Yeah. It's a big
thing.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a natural thing for men. It happens. Eventually, some people have a full head of hair until they die, and some people don't.
But if you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think. Well, it's easy to say because I got hair, maybe, but. I think it's one of those things. It's going to be part of the lessons you need to learn in life, dealing with that.
Shit disappears.
Your body's going to deteriorate.
Exactly.
Hair is just one of the things.
Get used to it, right? Hair is the least of your problems.
Yeah, your teeth are going to fall out.
But
hair's going to grow.
But there you go. But these women with the huge fake boobs, their whole body is going to deteriorate as well, like all of us, right?
They're going to keep,
but not the boobs. But not the boobs.
But they
the boobs
don't
are going to stay there and live forever.
They start doing it to everything.
The boobs start to sag.
They'll do it with everything. They'll do it with their stomachs. They'll do it with their necks, their arms, so they don't have the flappy shit, the chins, the ass.
I really can't help but feeling that these people are being exploited.
I don't think they're being exploited, man. You're putting such an innocence on these people. I think that there are people that are vain.
Because I can't imagine
and that don't think it's
doing
a problem
something.
Being vain, that you're into yourself and
but
that you
want
vain
enough to go under the knife.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Because again, sometimes it goes horribly wrong, and other times it's all right. I've met people that have had plastic surgery that I had no idea.
Yeah. But you have to remember something. You're very comfortable with who you are. A lot of this is,
everyone's a little bit vain.
But it's not just vanity; it's insecurity.
But not to the
People
point.
are very insecure.
But I
about
understand
certain
insecurities.
things.
I think everyone is insecure about something. Definitely,
but to different levels. And with women in this society,
but if
nowadays,
you're insecure that much about your body that you're willing to go through surgery, I mean, I have a. Wouldn't it be easier to just do some sports? I don't know.
It's minor surgery.
Think about this.
Getting your tooth fixed.
How much money have you got if you're spending it all on plastic surgery? You've probably got a lot of money.
You got money. Yeah.
So you've probably done a lot of shit and you're bored and you want to do something else or whatever it is.
I don't know, man.
It's not a decision that I feel
Maybe
is
it's
being
because I have an
forced
aversion
upon
to
them.
surgery.
I don't
want to go to a hospital and be opened up. And...
I don't think, like, for example, if you go for the modeling agencies and the idea of fitness and how women should look, that I think has a big effect on the mentality. I don't feel that plastic surgery is being pushed on anybody to that extent. I don't think it's unfair. I think everybody that gets into it knows what they're in for. And they just say, I'm going to flip the coin. Fuck it.
I think it's the objectification is the problem. And
Right.
you have the social media, and they're constantly gauging their physical appearance and comparing that to other people's physical appearance at their best. You know, the Instagram and Facebook is a highlight reel of moments where you looked that way.
But that's the whole point. That's exactly at their best.
Yeah.
No one wants to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger looks now, do they? You stop seeing their pictures. Once they're not the hottest people and the most physically buff and perfect beings, you stop seeing them. Because they get old, but that's the process, and that's the process people are supposed to be able to accept.
Yeah.
If you're not able to accept this, if you're not able to accept that, okay, I'm shorter, I'm too tall, all of us are gonna have problems,
Yeah.
right? That we're supposed to, I'm fat, I'm too thin, I don't, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But
And part of dealing with that problem is part of becoming an adult and growing the fuck up. Paying someone to pretend that you don't have to deal with that problem. I don't know, man.
There aren't any adults.
It doesn't look right. And to me, it still looks like it's exploited. Because I've seen a lot of shit where plastic surgeons will, you go in and they... obviously, I don't know who, I don't know where, but there's a lot of situations where they're basically treating you like a mechanic when you bring in the car, and it's like, you need this here and you need that there, and plastic surgeons are doing the same. It's like, maybe you want to tuck this in, maybe we could do this, we could do that, and they're suggesting to people that they know are already, with a low self-esteem, that are exploitable.
Meh.
You don't...
I don't care.
Well, I don't
I
care
think it's a
either.
minor problem of the society.
That if you're in that situation and you go down that hole and you're convinced into plastic surgery and you go through it and you pay for it, I mean, fuck me. You've got my sympathy, all right? Fine. It sucks that you now feel bad about it, but
I get it. I don't know. I just always feel bad when I see these people all, deformed and fucked up and obviously look like they had a lot of surgery. You gotta know when to stop, and these people don't know when to stop.
I agree with you that definitely there's a problem with our world of people not growing up and not accepting what life actually is. But I think that a boob job is like a minor part of that.
Of course.
There's so much to that in the way that people act around each other. Like right now, toilet paper selling out. I mean,
you know what? Maybe I'm just envious because I can't get, I can't just get a bigger dick or, or packs or a 6-pack or whatever and pay someone to get all that shit instead of like women can. Oh, you can, but it's gonna
look funky,
hilarious.
Yeah,
there are some guys with the 6-pack all fucked up in different places. Yeah.
Oh, there's a guy
hilarious.
who's like a real life Action Man or Ken or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. He modeled himself on it.
Wasn't it in Entourage that the guy was obsessed about his calves?
Yeah, he wanted calf implants.
Yeah.
Calf implants. You see, but that's the kind of thing. It wasn't until that show that I ever thought that I even had calves. Yeah. It's like the guy was talking about it in the movie Drama, right?
Yeah,
Drama.
Johnny Drama.
Johnny Drama was losing it over his calves, and I'm going like, it's calves. Who gives a fuck? Whoever looks at that. And I'm looking at my leg and going, who cares? Who cares? It's like all these posters of women with sexy legs, right? Sexy legs. I get the idea of the sexy leg, but it's like, I got legs. Yeah. I got legs.
That's from a different time, though. You have to remember that cinema,
right.
when they started to show the leg, that was really provocative.
It was already provocative because before it was the ankle.
Exactly.
Right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
And I think that's just lingered on from there because they don't want to outright show porn in cinema.
Exactly.
It's like they can't raise the bar anymore because people get outraged.
By the way. Which they did. It is a forgotten time, but up until a couple of decades ago, you could go to the cinema, to watch porn.
Yeah.
Right.
And you'd watch regular movies that had people having sex.
Yes.
And they showed everything, and they were actually having sex.
Isn't that what happened with the first porn movie with Deep Throat? Isn't that the story where they launched it? It was the first commercial porn movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't even shown at special cinemas or whatever. It was shown
But they had a lot of backlash because
everywhere.
Of it. Yeah.
Everywhere. In a time where there were no ratings. So anyone could walk in and just be surprised by, well, I don't know how surprised they were going to be if the name was Deep Throat, but...
Are you kidding me? in that era of innocence,
Yeah.
people didn't know this shit. TV, seeing something on a screen was fascinating. Like, you got that first image of the train rolling through. I think it was one of the first movies that was passed through, right?
Yeah.
You've got, so there's that level of shit still. It's still that a surprising new medium, and then you're going out to watch a movie and you're surprised with Deep Throat. You're like, I don't know what that means. Deep Throat. I mean, nowadays it's easy to go Deep Throat. Clearly, has that sort of implication because we've always heard it everywhere. It's kind of part of pop culture what Deep Throat is and blowjobs are and shit like that.
Okay,
If you
so
go
here's
back
the
into
question. Was Deep Throat already the name for the act, or did it become the name for the act because of the movie?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because the movie was obviously popular. I remember a couple of years ago when the actress... I never even watched that movie. And a couple of years ago when the actress that played the main actress in Deep Throat died, it was on the news. So that's how big that porn movie was.
Linda Lovelace?
Exactly. It was.
Yeah.
It was.
You didn't watch the movie?
No, never. I figured people were gonna be way too hairy for my liking, so I didn't watch it.
You wouldn't get it on the Harry, no.
The Harry Bush was not one of my favorites. Because the movie is in the 70s, right?
But so I didn't watch the movie either. I just heard about it. My question is then, was there the actual act of Deep Throat?
Oh, there was. Because if you read about the movie has a plot.
Yeah.
The movie has a plot, and the plot is, and I swear I read the plot. I never watched the movie, okay? But because I was reading about the movie. But the plot was that this woman was born with a physical anomaly, and her clitoris was at the back of her throat.
Okay.
There you go.
That's the plot of the movie.
That is pretty much the plot of the movie. that is the affliction that Lovelace chick was born with.
That's brilliant, though. Why they should bring that movie back?
There you go.
They should bring that movie back. There should be. I think.
I'm sure they did. It's porn. There's everything. I'm sure.
No. I mean mainstream.
With what's her name? The Golem Eyes.
The girl from Tattoo.
Yeah.
Golem Eyes.
Tattoo.
Yeah, from Mamma Mia as well.
But I don't know.
Amanda Seyfried.
That's it.
Okay.
Amanda Seyfried. Golem Eyes.
I know who she is. I don't know her name. Yeah. Because you watched the Ted, the teddy bear thing, the second one.
Yeah, she's the girlfriend.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not Mila Kunis anymore.
No, it isn't. And someone called her Golem Eyes, and until they did, I had never known. Well, she does have googly eyes. She's got big eyes. Golem Eyes. Wait a second.
We're having complex operations go on. Reinforcements. Snacks have arrived.
Olives.
So what do we got? We got olives, chips,
nachos, and the weird toasty thingies.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I went to the butcher's.
We'll eventually have dinner. We're still gonna have dinner.
Okay.
This is just because I can't really cook right now.
Yeah, that's the next evolution in the podcast, is starting to have the cooking while eating. While talking.
Right. Yeah. Next evolution.
And then it'll turn into a cooking show. What
I
is the
could do a
recipe
cooking
that you're
show
going to
now.
make for us today, David?
I couldn't do a cooking show. Well, I could do something.
You could make a very good cooking show.
There's not a lot I could teach people.
But the food never had to be good, right?
Oh, right. Then yes.
Because nobody's
How are
going to
they
try
going to
it.
tell? Every time you see something on TV and you have the chef going, delicious, and you just have to take his word for it.
Yeah.
It might be
You do.
terrible.
What else is he going
And
to
they're
say?
like,
And it is-
this is the most
gonna be
amazing
delicious.
thing ever. This is how you cook something. See, it's delicious. It's like,
and it isn't
I
going to be
don't know
delicious because
that.
it's always going to be cold from, because it's there for a long time.
The thing is, the amount of times you try something at home that you're following a recipe, and then you get to the end of it, and it's like, this tastes like shit. I did something wrong. Maybe you didn't. Maybe it tasted like shit with her as well, and she's just going, fantastic, and that's how you cook the best pasta ever. It's
I'm
like,
going to make them eat shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
And people
It's all
are
just a
so
scam.
self-deprecating already that they immediately think, oh, I must be fucking this up.
Yeah.
It's my fault. And sometimes, no, it's just a shitty recipe.
Yeah. I've seen that a lot. It's like, for example, a chef will give a recipe for a really good salad, and then somewhere along the line he'll put cucumber in it. And at the end, all of these wonderful flavors. That's a lie. All you can taste is cucumber. If you put cucumber in salad, that's what it is.
Well, at least it doesn't taste too bad.
It tastes like cucumber.
Exactly.
If you like cucumber, that's great.
It tastes as shit. That's what it tastes like.
Doesn't it? It tastes like
as
a-
shit.
it tastes like a weird watermelon.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah,
Tastes like watermelon's weird cousin.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a green bitter cousin.
no, watermelon's cheap.
Nobody
cousin.
likes having him around, and every time he's there's no ignoring him.
No, he takes up the room.
Cucumber is to watermelon like Ryanair is to airlines.
There you go.
Crappy, cheap, watered down
shit,
version.
Ryanair's here.
No, I
God
won't,
damn it,
I won't
man.
talk about it.
All airlines are going to turn into Ryanair sooner or later. It's just
No, they won't. No, they won't. No, they won't.
Well, I guess they'll still have the top end for a few people, but in the general mass of people, I think people are going to tend to travel more and more and want the cheaper travel.
Well, who knows? With the
Could
whole
you imagine
coronavirus
if-
thing, who the hell knows?
Could you imagine if now traveling
stops,
became a
became a problem.
luxurious thing
Yeah,
again?
exactly.
Like imagine a trip to Italy is like 5,000 euros.
No,
And
it-
now, from now on,
No,
it's
okay,
just an
it's not-
exclusive
it's never
thing,
gonna
and
be
then
like
you're
that,
like with your grandchildren going, "When I was young, we traveled
Yeah.
everywhere for nothing."
Well, but I don't think it would be that bad. Well, for the economy and whatever, but I don't think it would be that bad because you used to travel, you used to save up to travel, you used to save up for that trip you were gonna do, right? And that trip or those 3 or 4 trips or countries you're gonna visit during your lifetime were gonna be really important and memorable and whatever. Now we've taken a bit of the, of the worth out of it, the value of it, because we can do it any
It's
day.
easy.
As I was saying before we starting this thing, you can get from Lisbon to London cheaper than it costs me to get to the airport in Lisbon.
Yeah.
It takes a bit out of it. You know what it is? It's exactly the same thing as with pictures nowadays, with the Instagram and the selfies and digital media, and you have unlimited pictures, right?
Yeah.
But before, when you had this camera roll with 24 pictures and you went on a trip and you took those 24 pictures, and those pictures were worth a lot more.
Yeah.
You enjoyed them. They were for special moments. You weren't taking
you
pictures
kept
of a
them.
passing cat or pictures of your food. No, you were taking pictures of actually the country that you wanted to visit and things that were important, right?
Boiled eggs in the morning. My breakfast.
Exactly. It's nuts, and you would have this whole thing about going home and waiting to see the pictures because you didn't know. You had no idea what it looked like.
Yeah, and half of them were out of focus.
Well, there you go.
Forgot the lens cap on.
Yeah, people get nostalgic, but I remember that time, and it sucked.
It didn't. It was better. You know why? Because all the pictures I have of the whole time I lived with my parents, growing up until I was 19 and left home, right? Up until that point, all the pictures of most of the pictures of my entire life are in one single album. Yeah. That's it. One album that I have from birth till I left my house. And that's how it should be. I shouldn't have 3,000 pictures of shit, of bullshit, of cats and meals and sunsets and... No,
you're now
because you're not even gonna ever be able to find the one picture because there isn't the one picture anymore.
Yeah.
That's gone.
Yeah,
Right
now you have several friends who are having children.
Yeah, I know exactly. I was thinking about that as I was saying the 1,000 pictures.
The first year of life. How many photos on average do the parents take in the first year?
Hundreds,
of life?
if not thousands, I'm sure. Pictures that are gonna disappear when this phone dies or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Everybody
it's-
has a drawer full of old phones that they need the memory taken out.
Right?
All my photos.
Exactly. It
My
makes,
child
it makes
is on
no
there.
sense. We go back to the whole conversation about the
Yeah.
physical medium. You took the picture and you had a picture, and then
Yeah.
you had an album with pictures that, my parents did as I was growing up, and it's there.
Yeah.
It's a thing that lasts and I can pass on to my kids, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't do that anymore. These pictures, your kid. So, our friends that are having kids now, there's a big chance that all of these a very big chance, that all of these thousands of pictures they're taking of their kids, which they shouldn't,
Are
a
gonna
few
get
is
lost.
enough,
Yeah.
are going to get lost and disappear. No one's ever going to see them. So
Yeah.
why are they? Because people aren't backing up stuff. They're not organized enough, generally speaking.
Yeah.
So,
The ones that are just annoying because they have
Exactly.
50,000 photos of everything.
which they're only gonna watch to by themselves. Who's gonna watch, thousands of pictures of the same baby in the same year?
Yeah.
No one, not even the parents. So it defeats the purpose. You see, you get too much. Too much of one thing can be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Too
Clear.
much
Yeah, yeah.
access. It's too much. It's too much.
Everything in moderation, including moderation.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, when nowadays the thing is, these pictures aren't even being taken with the thought of storing them with Instagram and stuff, with the lives and the stories. Actually, you're literally putting something on there that in 24 hours is gone.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's no other purpose. You're doing it on purpose. You want it just to be there for 24 hours, and then it's indifferent.
Yeah.
Why do it at all?
Exactly.
You're sharing your life. What these platforms are mediums of sharing what you're doing with however many people are interested in it. And however you frame your reality, either with food or with ass or with something interesting or with bullshit, you get to pick whatever it is. But that's it. You're literally sharing your reality constantly. And that's the challenge I always had with social media was that in order to actually do it, you have to share a lot of your existence on this shit, like to get likes and followers, and you have to be constantly on it, and then
Exactly.
responding to everything and replying to comments and
You have to
replying
live
to
it. It
messages.
becomes-
It is your
Yeah.
life. It
Yeah.
overtakes a big part of your life, and
Yeah, but
that's it. It's
what
not
for?
about storage anymore. It's I don't
it's
know
what,
what
instant
for, man. I don't know what
gratification.
for.
Instant pleasure kick you
You
get.
can get
from...
money out of it. It can be your job.
Yeah, but to get money out of it, we're talking,
Like 50,000 subscribers.
You have to have a really nice ass and a lot of good photos.
50,000 subscribers.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. I mean, yeah, because think even small companies will start being interested. Local
course.
shit. You've got 50,000 people that are liking your ass. Or in some cases, I mean, it's obviously easy to go to the ass story, but there are some people that use it amazingly. They're comedians
Yeah,
or
of course,
artists and
of course.
people that know how to use it. But I think even those guys are the first guys to admit that it does take over, and though they have to take breaks from it and turn off because that's all you're doing. You're constantly on that platform,
Yeah. I have no idea how that's gonna
sharing
evolve.
everything about your day.
I have no idea how those things are going to evolve. Where does it stop?
I don't
It looks like people are more and more living out this superficial life that is only important as long as it exists within Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
And again, like the pictures that they're taking and not storing and not keeping for the future or whatever, they're just taking it to share and not getting anything
think
back
the
other than the
Worse than that is that the reality,
The
that
instant satisfaction.
They're living a split reality. In that platform, they are this smiley, quirky, fun person that has clever ideas and that does this and has an amazing lifestyle and eats out and has the most gorgeous friends and everything is perfect on there. And then when they click off of that shit and come back into the real world, they realize that that's all in a game. Right? But in real life, they're still sitting in their house, in their apartment. They've got no one around them or whatever their reality is. It's a different reality from that. So there is a split personality that's evolving more and more and more because
there's like the online persona and
yeah, but the fucked up thing is that it is an attachment, the biggest attachment, I think, to us that we've already accepted. You guys were talking about implants and stuff. This is it. This is the appendage, right? But
the cell phone. Yeah.
It's always on you, always on. If you need to know something, you go to it. If you need to find somewhere, you go to it. If you need to talk to someone, you go to it.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well,
But
it is a
with
very useful tool. I mean,
but
you know,
it's also a storage unit for a second personality.
Yeah.
If you are in contact with this, you're in communication with your own personal Jeeves, let's call it. And that guy is you, but a different version of you, because whenever you're attached to this, you're a different person. And then I think that can't be healthy in any sort of way, because it's going to get pretty hard putting this shit down when your real life sucks. Because you're an asshole that's always on his phone.
They don't put it down.
Exactly,
That's the thing.
because as long as they're on this, they get to be Jeeves, and Jeeves
The
doesn't
first
have
thing
problems.
most people do when they wake up, whether they are married and sleeping with the person they've been married to for decades, the first thing they do is grab the phone and check shit that doesn't need to be checked.
Because that's their...
I mean, really.
Doesn't it? But couldn't it be that that's kind of their... They're waking up and they have to slip into those clothes, because already just waking up to your own reality is fucked up
I think
enough.
they're doing things on a loop. I think they're not thinking
As well,
about it.
because
I think
you're
there's
getting-
a routine
You're getting
that kicks
these.
in.
You're getting these endorphins punched into you
I
when you
think-
click these things. There's dopamine reactions going off when you get the little ringtones for the messages and stuff, and the kind of content that's put onto it is rewarding your brain constantly for being on it.
I think it is very simply, the way it is very simply Pavlovian situation, you know, with the dog and the balance and salivating. It is exactly that.
Yeah.
People get so used to getting that bling, and when the bling happens, they open the phone and, haha, someone likes something I did.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. And that, you know, goes round and round in a loop until it becomes all there is. All that matters to you.
Yeah.
All that gives you anything.
Yeah. It also makes people not have to think as much.
Yeah.
They're just constantly receiving
People
information
don't like thinking.
and stimulus. And it takes them away from, I don't think in a conscious way that people are running away, but usually people are trying to
you
avoid
withdraw
their
to
problems.
just flipping through stuff.
Yeah. And it's much easier than dealing with something in your real life that you have to deal with to just, I'll just...
But it is such an underused, awesome tool.
Yeah.
You know, you have the biggest database of information that humanity has ever put together at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Anything you want to know, you can know right now. There is no excuse for not knowing anything you want to know.
I actually think there is.
And people don't want to know.
I can ask
What they
you
want
guys
is to see what other people is wearing and what the other person's dog looks like and what they're eating. And what the hell?
I was actually having a conversation about this shit earlier on, and it's weird. So you're saying that we've got this, and it's easy to find out anything that you want to find out now because we've got access to this database. But I think that it's actually more complicated now because on one topic, you have 700 different opinions, all validated by something.
Sure.
Or someone else that discredits the other one. So actually, you want to know if you know, a ball is round, and now there's 700 different pages that you have to sort through to figure out which one
overwhelmed
is
with
actually
information.
telling the truth about it. And
But at least,
You know,
but at least you can sort through the information and make up your mind and figure out what is what.
yeah,
I mean,
You have
don't have
access
to go.
to information.
I mean, you don't have to go back that far. Again, I remember as a kid, if I needed to know something, if I wanted to know something, I could either ask my parents or look it up in the encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia, yeah.
After that, I could go to the local library. And this is already access to information, considering that if you go back thousands of years, you know, you'd have to travel to some foreign land where they built the library, you know, where they had the answer to stuff.
Yeah.
So, right, when I was growing up, I could go to the library, I could ask my parents, or I could look it up in the encyclopedia. So nowadays, come on, it is.
But there you go. So back then,
the only difference
if
is
you
when
wanted
you
to
were
know
looking it up,
something,
it was
you had a
probably-
source. You had
Yeah.
this place that you respected enough to go,
Yes.
this is right about shit.
Yeah, the source material is more checked.
Generally speaking, I mean, I don't know, honestly, maybe that
It
shit was
wasn't
all
right.
wrong.
It wasn't
Which is
right.
probably what we're finding out now, but there you go. Back then you had, all right, there's two sources. Source A isn't available, source B is. Source B isn't available, you've got C, which is a library. But those are your sources, and whatever you read there, you're going to go, this is pretty
it.
This is pretty
You're
accurate.
gonna take it as, you know.
Nowadays, you Google that, and there's thousands of pages of results, and then on top of those results, there's ads of unrelated things that are pushing you in completely
Yes.
opposite directions.
Well, the ads are a whole separate thing, but the amount of information you have is, well, everyone has the
But
right to interpret.
accessing the
an
real
opinion.
information is
But it's easy to
so
sort through.
hard.
Yeah.
It
Come on.
isn't.
It is.
It isn't. I
Okay,
don't
so
find it
let
easy.
me tell you this. And my mother had this problem a while ago. I'm sure I told you the story about the asteroid, and she thinks we're at dinner, and she's telling me
I've
did you
got
hear about the
cookies
asteroid?
Sorry, I've got cookies as well. If you guys
It's
want
okay.
cookies or chocolate.
No, I'm good.
No, Shika? No? Okay. Sorry.
So I'm at dinner, and my mother goes, "Oh, did you see NASA says there's an asteroid coming?" Yeah, coming. I'm thinking, coming what? There's an asteroid approaching. It's not going to hit us. No, it's going to hit us. I saw it on a website. When she showed me the website, it was obviously bullshit. The website, yeah, it did say NASA, and it had a guy in front of a flag, but it was in Brazilian. Everything was written in Brazilian. There were ads on the website about getting, pills to enlarge your dick. So obviously, any website with pills to enlarge your dick or free dates or whatever like that, anything like that, is going to be fake. It's easy to sort through. I can understand how older people, like my parents, can't sort through this stuff. But it is actually very easy. Okay.
No.
I
Come
get
on.
it. Look, if it's about these odd things that pop up, I'm with you. But let's take the case of right now,
Yeah.
where you got the virus rampaging
Yes.
everywhere.
Come on, listen to the scientists and to the doctors.
Yeah,
That's
but
the people you need to listen to.
everybody has their own scientists and doctors right now. And
Yeah, but the only
everybody's-
reason you have different opinions is because this hasn't been around long enough for
Exactly.
them to know.
So, but I agree.
scientists will tell you, we don't know.
Again,
It's
you're
journalists
helping
and people
me.
that are later coming up and going, oh, so it's this and it's that and it's the other.
Because
Fuck what
you're
you think it
asking.
is.
You're
the
asking-
scientist doesn't know.
You're
yet.
but that's not what they say. So the thing here is you are asking this computer and you are expecting an answer already.
Yeah.
Meaning there's somebody's job is to ask this question before you and have an answer ready for you when you Google it.
Yeah.
So that's the journalist that's going there and asking the question. And then if the scientist doesn't know, they say, look, I don't know. We'll tell you when we know something. But they never say that because one guy might say it, two guys might say it, 50 guys might say it. Eventually, you're going to talk to one that likes having a camera and he's going to go, well, I think this. And, he's a scientist and he's validated and everything. And now he is on the television telling everybody about this. And he's in the news article. And then everybody gets their own version of this guy to say, I think this. So now there's 70 different things on something that we don't know what the fuck is right now. All different opinions on what it is, what you should do, how you should be doing, if you should use masks, if you shouldn't use masks. And at this point, where the fuck do you actually turn to believe anything?
What does it matter? The basics are simple. The rest is just conjecture, but the basics are simple, right?
I guess.
Keep away from people. Wash your fucking hands. Don't cough into your hands and go and, hold shit and touch people. Come on, it's stuff we should have been doing all along.
Stay away from dick pills.
Yeah, exactly. All this stuff is stuff we should have been doing all along. Can you interpret about the masks? Wear a mask, don't wear a mask? Is it the best solution, isn't it? Yeah, they don't know if it's the best solution or not, and you can interpret. You want to be safe? Wear a mask. You want to be carefree? Don't wear a mask. Who gives a fuck? I mean, really. You know what? People are at home, obviously, stuck like us, trying to figure it out and trying to come up with answers. And they're going, they're going stir crazy, I think.
But there you go.
And
So
asking a lot of
unless-
questions that no one knows, and people should be telling them, we don't know, so just do this.
I've
So-
heard
but
some.
This is what we do now.
That's accepting a different position on it there. That's what I mean is
Yeah.
we don't care. about a lot of this shit. We're okay with whatever is happening.
Whatever
We're trying to
happens,
figure it
happens.
out. We're worried for the ones that
Again,
actually get it, but-
acceptance.
Exactly.
It's part
but
of-
if you're into the actually wanting to find something out,
Yeah.
I think with anything that I want to find out, I have to pick sort of sources.
side.
Yeah, you have to pick a
You
side
have to pick
on
a side.
anything.
Yeah.
And you have to stick with that because logically to you it makes sense. But it's funny, it kind of shows you the same thing that you kind of find out. Nobody knows anything about
of course
anything,
not.
and it's just a bunch of people talking, and
course
some
not.
people have cameras and others don't.
Yeah.
And those guys make the news and your neighbor doesn't, and that's
Did
for
you see
some
Trump
reason-
yesterday suggesting
Oh, God.
people should? Did you see this thing about
Yeah.
putting the light and put the light inside the body and treatment because with
That's
the
cancer
with
treatment.
with the no and after that he goes no because with the disinfectant we kill things immediately, so why not look into putting
That
disinfectant inside the body.
It would kill the disease.
A Lysol, and a whole
Would.
You had
Lysol
the-
and a whole bunch of companies had to come out the next day, which was today, and say, no, please do not ingest our products.
Yeah.
Please do.
You
What
had
the
a
hell?
medical advisor. So have you not seen the footage of her reacting to him saying this
Oh
shit?
no! What I saw, Trump was just asking to the woman, to the doctor
Right.
on the right, but I couldn't see her.
So
They must have cut it.
He wasn't asking the doctor on the right. He was asking somebody else. I can't tell
Okay,
you who he's
yeah.
asking, but there's footage of I think the doctor, which is a woman.
Right.
And she's sitting there and he's saying these things, and you can see her shock and disbelief at just looking at like, no. And then there was another video of like one of the, fuck, I'm terrible with names. I'm an idiot. I don't
Yeah,
know.
with someone.
With some medical professional in a high-ranking position reacting to it, going, fuck, no, you can't do this shit.
Right.
The light
Was it
inside the
Fauci?
body, he was, no.
No.
The light inside the body, from what I
That's
was
the one I know.
understanding, was like cancer or radiation therapy is the only closest thing we've got available to it. It's like, you don't do that shit.
Yeah, but you got to remember this, and it's the same thought process. You'll see, it's the same thought process. This is coming from the same guy that while the Notre Dame Cathedral was on fire, suggested they should use the airplanes they used to put out fires in the forests and just drop tens of thousands of tons of water on it to put it out.
Sounds brilliant.
Right? Doesn't it sound absolutely brilliant?
It solves the problem of the fire.
It solves the problem of the fire. Exactly.
It's like this corona thing. If you ingest like pipe cleaner,
oh yeah,
it will kill the virus.
It'll kill the virus.
No problem. It might take you as well.
It
You know,
might,
but
yeah.
who cares? Then at least you didn't die of corona, which is the
Hey,
important
well,
thing.
Which is the important thing,
is-
exactly.
Because nobody's dying other than corona right now, right?
No. A guy I know, his father died yesterday, right?
Of corona.
Shit.
You just did what I wanted. Exactly. I was gonna say because he posted it on Facebook or something, and he had to say not of corona, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it's come to. No one can die right now without getting that question,
Yeah.
right? If someone dies, you're gonna ask, did he die of corona? It's like, no,
Yeah.
no. There's still people dying from everything else as usual, right?
That's been something that's really annoyed me lately about people saying 2,000 people died in a single day. Like,
yeah.
how many people normally die?
Yeah, I've checked
every
it up.
day?
Around 250,000
Well, exactly. So worldwide
worldwide.
only? Seems
You can sell the numbers. That's the thing.
No, it is 250,000, and about 500,000 to 500,000 are born every day.
yeah.
This is the proportion last time I checked.
And it's a pretty aggressive toll for what you're seeing in a disease.
It is.
It's aggressive.
It
It's
is.
not the
Well, and
same
it's
as
aggressive with all these measures.
The U.S. I think was about to pass the threshold of being worse than the flu already, just with their confirmed cases
Yeah.
right now.
Worse than the flu.
Yeah,
The normal flu.
right now.
On
and
top
we're-
of the
we're in
normal
April,
flu, right?
Yeah.
We're in April, so already, and again, my facts on this are very questionable because I don't really do that much research on this shit, right? But last I was reading about it
Yeah.
was that they were about to pass the threshold for it. And you've got places where, with the amount of cases that like in Italy, the death toll is at like 7% or rising to 10% mortality rates. So
in Italy, I think they're saying the mortality rate is higher in Italy because Italy is also like the second oldest country in the world, where the population is, older.
it's tricky.
So
It's
that's how they're justifying Italy, and it must certainly account for a bit of it.
I don't think
crazy,
we
but
can
like
have.
New York is having a shit ton of cases now.
Yeah.
Right? And they don't have 3 generations of families like in Italy living in the same building.
No, probably not.
It's I don't know, man.
Manhattan's
It's weird. I
expensive.
know people that have it. Or even my cousin, she had it, and now
Yeah.
she doesn't have it anymore. She's tested negative again.
She's good.
She just had the symptoms of no smell and no taste,
Right.
and that was it. She was all right. And then
Yeah, you told me. I told you right away. It's like, I wouldn't even notice those symptoms. Me,
exactly.
right?
You would.
I can't smell anything and taste. Well.
But then I had my uncle Tim, and he was devastated by it. And Simon, another friend of ours, my mother's friend,
He didn't
he's
have
got it, and
No, he doesn't. It's not COVID.
it's not.
It's something
no.
else?
No, he was in hospital on a ventilator and everything, and it wasn't Corona.
It wasn't.
No.
What was it?
It
Oh,
was some other flu.
Some other flu?
Yeah.
They don't know shit. See?
Huh.
The problem I
no,
have with the mortality rate
it's weird.
is that we don't have a number of people. We don't know how many people actually have it.
Man, but the whole thing, it's been every other disease has been around for a long, long time. We've had, years, decades of building data on it, right?
Yeah.
What happens after you take this treatment? How long does it last? What happens? How do you react to this? What are the symptoms after?
Does it get
we got
worse
years
if it
and
comes around
years.
the second time?
Exactly. We got years and years of information on it. We got 4 months of information on this one.
Yeah.
That's the thing that makes it tough to predict anything. They don't know. They just do not know. They do not know. They don't have enough information on how many enough people affected by it and analyzed to know what happens. That's why you're getting cases of people popping up in South Korea again that were cleared of it and they're testing positive again.
Yeah.
We don't know.
We don't know anything.
We don't know. I think a lot about AIDS because AIDS was the thing when I was a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And think about it. It took 2 decades until they could come up with, all the answers and treatment and everything, until they knew everything. Okay, maybe it took a few years to know everything and then another decade or so to get treatment. And when you compare it to what we have with this, we have very little information.
Yeah.
Putting it on a weird, I'm going to kind of take it in a different direction here, but there's the thought of something only is if you're observing it, right? What is it with quantum?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Something only manifests itself if you're observing it.
Well, if you want to put it on a different scale, it's the same as the tree in the forest, and does it make noise
Well,
when
there
it
you
falls
go.
if you're
But
not
the
there or
idea
not?
is, the longer you look at something, the longer that something is in existence,
Yeah.
and is part of whatever this is, you're going to find out, you're going to give more information about it because
Yeah.
you're looking at it longer. You're analyzing it more. You'll understand anything. With everything, I think that happens. And there are diseases like, was it SARS? That's the same sort of coronavirus type.
Yeah, I think
strand.
so. Yeah, SARS and MERS, and
MERS
whatever.
or-
Yeah.
where you didn't have information about it and they pop up. It happens right now. I
does.
think the
It
biggest
does.
difference is we're just so interconnected. There's so much exchange of information
I
from
agree.
one side
we
of the
should,
planet
we should
to
put
the
an
other.
end to that. We should be well, not an end, but we should pipe it down. We don't need to be that interconnected.
I think we're just getting used to whatever this thing is. This web, this connection that you can.
I think.
You
I mean,
can
in
reach
terms of-
anything and everything, anywhere, anytime, whenever you want.
But it can. But it also did in the Middle Ages with the with the trade from
But now-
from China all the way to Europe. That's how the bubonic plague came about.
Yeah, but now
it
we're
was
not
transported. It just
self-sufficient.
took. No, the thing is, it's not about the problem. I don't think is going to be self-sufficiency. I mean.
The interconnectedness comes from nobody being self-sufficient. We always need,
Right. I see what you mean.
we
Yes,
always
it
need
does.
somebody for. Nothing is produced. No country produces.
Yeah, but that is
everything.
definitely something we
other
should
than China.
start looking at. Now that we've seen, I know we won't look at shit, and we'll try and
We've
make everything
been
go
there.
back to exactly how it was. But we should really look into certain things being produced closer so we do not depend so heavily on countries that are on the other side of the world.
But we've been there and we've turned it around. Like cars. We used to make cars here. We used to make furniture. You can't buy furniture made by the guy down the road anymore. You buy IKEA shit and it lasts you 2 years and then you curse the day you bought it.
Well, but
and then you go back and buy it again because you can't afford good shit.
So I think what you're trying to mention is planned obsolescence put into the economy.
And that it's always going to be so cheap to go and buy a chair from IKEA.
Yeah.
That you're not ever going to have another guy who makes chairs for a living.
Never.
Down the road.
Again, like the pictures, like everything else.
I'm an optimist in this.
You're not
going to
have furniture.
Man.
You're
There's
not going to have
always going to
furniture.
be one guy that's so in love with furniture.
Oh, of course.
And it's like his passion and his calling.
But that
he
guy
wants to make the most comfortable and beautiful chair.
Yeah, true.
The most ergonomically correct. There's always some weirdo,
a niche
man.
market
There has to,
for
because
that,
otherwise I'm fucked. If having some sort of obsession is not normal for everyone, I have to really rethink.
No,
this.
don't worry. Some sort of obsession is normal for a lot of people.
There you go. So I'm sure it's one guy's obsession.
It is. Yeah.
And it's another guy's obsession
furniture.
to fuck that chair. Just because there has to be the opposites of it. There's one guy that really likes making it. There's another one that likes
breaking them.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing
The
is
cycle of life.
Yeah.
I'm an expert chair breaker, but not because I enjoy it so much as that they don't handle my weight.
They didn't. Now you're
my
okay.
rocking
but IKEA
backwards and
chairs are
forward.
never going to be that supportive, are they?
No,
they're not. I mean,
just like IKEA.
You're sitting on a McDonald's chair.
Yeah,
I know. How did you guys get this?
A friend of ours, his dad owns a couple of McDonald's,
and this is one of the chairs that used to be in the interior.
They remodeled it, and
you know what? I can tell you something. It is not built to sit on for a long time. Clearly,
I don't think it was built to sit on at all. I think it was built to look good.
Sit on Nick Cage. No, I couldn't do that.
It helps.
I like Nick Cage too much.
There you go.
Well, you can hold it.
That chair is
Fuck it, I'll just take it. It's okay.
An illusion to me because you look at it and it looks huge and
It looks
really
big
fluffy
and,
and comfortable.
Yeah, it's not fluffy at all.
You sit on it and it's tiny and really bad.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Also helps that I have no ass.
Which is why I gave it to you.
But it's not padded at all.
Implants.
See,
comfort. Now there we go. Those implants would be for comfort, not for.
Right.
But they will also serve your vanity, right?
No, I don't want that.
You don't want butt implants?
No,
like
I really
soft
do not
and saggy
man,
that are
the
comfortable
fact
to
that
sit
someone is gonna have to put me through a general anesthesia, open up my butt cheeks, stick stuff inside it, just so my butt could look plumpier.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No,
that is insane.
No, for comfort of seating.
No, I'd rather engineer chairs and deal with the ones that, I don't care.
Get a better chair.
I don't care. And believe me, I spend, tens of hours sitting in a cockpit, and I noticed.
What's this feedback?
I don't know. It just started now.
Yeah, it did.
What changed?
I don't know. There you go. What had changed?
Power cable.
You connected the laptop.
It was connected the whole time.
Oh, what the hell?
I think now the connection just probably got weaker. We must have moved something and it must have shifted the cable and started some sort of bad connection. Okay. I don't know. The gear is unfortunately always right with this shit. If it's making a noise, it's because something's not connected properly.
Yeah, it shouldn't be making noise.
Yeah. Which is, honestly, this is the thing that annoys me the most. We have so much development in all sorts of technologies, and we're still using cables for everything.
Yeah,
Half
that
of
is
my
really
floor
annoying.
right now is cables.
Yeah. That is really annoying.
Everywhere, anywhere that you see.
And every time you try to use shit that isn't with cables, it never works 100%.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
It is really annoying.
That's why
man.
this thing with 5G is really pissing me off, because it's... If it happens that it is fucked up and that it really has these consequences, not the corona thing. I'm not saying that. Sorry.
Okay.
Let's put things aside.
God.
Let's forget
For a
corona.
second.
Sorry.
For a second, you almost
sorry.
gave me a heart
sorry.
attack.
No.
I thought you cannot possibly believe that, my friend.
So before the corona thing came about, there were arguments on the safety of 5G, which is what I think is kind of picking up on right now with the corona thing. But before that, there were sort of worries about
but it's all bullshit.
Because it is radiation. We had a conversation about this, Pedro, about this, about the safety, anyway. The annoying thing for me is that it finally gives you the speed to actually accomplish so much.
Yeah.
In gadgets that you would use as well, in all sorts of technology that's not just talking to somebody fast or having a video conference. In things that you can apply
you were telling me the
everywhere
other
and
day
anywhere, right?
about recording live.
And recording, there's
All
tons
this
of
stuff
things
was
that
really
could
cool
happen.
with no lag. Yeah.
And it sucks that the thing that I most want to come out, because I've got so much banked on it now, right? All the projects and all of the ideas that I have rely on this thing working or being available. And yet it's also got this amazing backlash of, well, it might not actually happen because it could fuck us up pretty bad.
But don't worry. People do that with all new technology.
Yeah.
You know, people used to think that the microwaves in their in their kitchen, because they had microwaves, were gonna boil their brains and shit like that.
Well, to be fair, those microwaves did boil your brains
if
out.
you put your head inside it.
I had the one you gave me.
The
you
one I
gave me
gave
a
you was a
microwave.
classic.
It worked with the door open.
I know. It didn't even rotate. It was a microwave from the late 70s, early 80s.
You had the
But-
instructions on how to cook a whole turkey.
A whole turkey?
in like 15 minutes.
But that's when
And you just
microwaves
put
used
it
to
in,
have like
and it would-
1800 watts.
It sounded
of
like a
power.
diesel engine. Turn it. You put something in, and it went. Whoa.
Man, because microwaves back then had power to cook.
man.
They didn't reheat shit. They cooked.
And then you open. I'm used to just opening the door
Yeah.
whenever you want, and it stops. And I
No.
open it, and it just keeps. Whoa. I'm like, oh well, that's 20 years off my life
Come
for
on,
sure,
you
and
can't
probably
figure
the
out,
ability to
turn
have
it off
children.
and then open the door. You can't figure that shit out on your own.
I
Not
didn't
when
know
you're
you
not
had
expecting
to.
it. Yeah.
Okay, but then
It's
you
one of those
understand and you
features
do
that's-
it.
You have to
forget.
remember, I'm a millennial
come on.
apparently, like
Pavlov.
I learned the other
Pavlov.
day. So I grew up with shit working with basic functions already put into
Yeah.
them, thought out for the good and for the bad. And in this case, I think for the good, where they went, right, we're going to stop microwaves
Yeah.
when they open the door, because think about that. For that to be a feature in mass-produced microwaves everywhere, somebody got sued because
Yeah.
somebody just left it on with the door open a lot.
And the cool thing is, they didn't only stop that, they also stopped the direction the microwave was going in, because at the time the microwave was seen as something that was going to replace the oven. That's why they were so powerful. The microwave nowadays that you buy, and you mostly use to reheat shit, right? This microwave nowadays has under less than half the power they used to have.
Yeah.
As you said, I remember that microwave. It even had a little picture of a turkey and, with times and shit. They were
had
used
a
to
whole
cook.
menu.
Exactly. They were used to cook, and there were times to cook, and there were little microwave recipe books that came to, 3 minutes to cook a turkey and whatever,
You
shit
cook,
like that.
You cook eggs in there. You cook bacon in there.
Yeah,
you cook
exactly.
That is
steaks
the
in
only
there.
piece of
Bacon, however,
technology.
still works pretty well. Bacon,
Yeah.
however, I was surprised
Bacon
when
and
I
eggs
found out
still-
about it.
Yeah.
Bacon is still nice.
Eggs still
yeah.
work in it as well. They're
The
good.
eggs work, but
The eggs I
They're
never
good.
tried, but
if
bacon
you don't
works.
look at it when it comes out, honestly, if you don't see what it looks
What do you
like
mean
when
if
it
you don't-
comes
What
out
does
of
it look like?
Oh, it looks like a weird spider web of egg.
looks vomit.
But it looks
But is it
like vomit.
scrambled? Is it mixed? Is it?
well, it
is
depends
the
how
white
you
and the
put it in
yolk?
it. I always scramble it before. Always. I did this like 3 or 4 times in my life.
So you do it like if you were gonna do an omelet and you put it in there.
yeah.
And then
yeah.
what?
And then you
It
time
comes out the
elapses.
same, but hard.
I think if I'm not mistaken, you stop it at a certain point, you stir it again, and then you put it for the rest of the time. But at the end, it looks like this airy, spongy spider
Okay.
web of egg. But then you mix it again and you put
It's
it on a
good.
plate. It's actually light and fluffy and stuff,
But
but
it's the same.
I don't think
It's
it tastes
drier.
the same because I cook with butter and
Yeah,
shit
right,
like that when
right.
I'm making
You can
eggs
throw some butter
normally.
in there.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's
If
not
I'm
the
going
same.
for
Right.
again, this is why I only did it like 3 times or 4 times because
Yeah, but microwaves aren't for
How
cooking. That's
fucking
what they
lazy.
gave up. They gave
Yeah,
up. Microwaves
it.
aren't for cooking.
For
No,
good reason.
no.
They
No,
stopped.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're,
It wasn't
they're
like they
good
were-
for reheating shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
they're
a
really good at
microwave
that.
works on the water, right? It works on dehydration of whatever you put in
It's not
there.
dehydration. It's not dehydrating it. It's just accelerating. The microwaves are reacting with the particles with the water molecules in
Yeah.
stuff, and they are shaking them about, and molecules start hitting each other. Once the water molecules start hitting each other, they start heating up.
Yeah,
like
whenever
everything
there's
else.
energy, there's
friction.
heat.
And
Exactly.
they evaporate. So the
A part of it evaporates, not all of it. It's ideally the microwave is going to be able to heat the stuff faster, then it's going to evaporate all the water.
Yeah,
So it
and then
doesn't
you use that
dehydrate
little
it.
bowl on top of
There
it
you go.
to
Exactly.
try
There you
and
go.
keep it, yeah.
So that's all it does. So if you put something that has 0 water molecules in it, which, something like a rock or paper, put paper in there, it's not gonna, it's not gonna heat up. Nothing's gonna happen to it. That's the reason your plate doesn't heat up. Your plate is made of, porcelain fabric. Well, ideally not good porcelain, but don't put china in the microwave, I guess. But
should be fine.
It should be fine, but I wouldn't risk it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's why it doesn't get hot. The only heat you get on your plate comes from the food that got that got hot. The plate itself has no water in it, so it never heats up. If you put it in there with no food, it's gonna come out exactly at the same temperature or almost at the same temperature.
Yeah.
So it's just about heating up water molecules. So obviously not a good thing to put your head in there.
Or have it operate with the door open.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But don't worry, not all the microwaves escaped.
Trust me, I had to put that to bed in a deep corner of my mind.
Oh, come on,
that
really?
I'm never accessing
I gave you a classic. I gave you a classic that with some engineering, could be weaponized, and you throw it away. Come on, it was awesome.
I thought of keeping it as like memorabilia because I thought one day people wouldn't believe that you could have this
that
shit in your house.
existed. You know what the coolest thing about that microwave was? You turn it on just for a minute, and you go outside or wherever you have your electricity counter.
Shit.
You go outside and you look at it spin. Well, when they used to spin, before they were digital, when they were that spinning disc. And you look at it spin, and I remember testing. So, nowadays it's still going to spin faster with a microwave than almost anything else in your house. But that microwave could shut down the entire house.
Yeah.
It could bring it down if you had anything else running at the same time. So, boom.
It was a
gone.
death trap, man.
Power was gone.
That was scary. That was the only thing that I've ever been scared of.
That microwave, you remember the Darwin Awards? You remember what they are, right? The Darwin Awards are these awards that are... So a long time ago when it started, they were awards that were given to people that died in very, very stupid ways, right? In very, very stupid ways. And the reason they were called the Darwin Awards is because by killing themselves in these very, very silly ways, accidents or whatever, they were removing their gene from the gene pool.
And helping natural selection.
So they were called the Darwin Awards. One very famous Darwin Award, back when these microwaves were a thing, the ones that worked with door opener, was... So a guy was going to pick up his not bride, to go to the
Fiancé?
prom.
Oh,
date.
prom.
Prom date. He's gonna prom date, right? He was picking up his prom date, gets to the house. Her parents weren't supposed to be there. They were on vacation while they were on prom. He gets to the house. She's not there. They can't find her. They don't know what's going on. He calls the police. She was supposed to be there. They were in love, whatever. The police gets in there, and they find her in her prom dress with her head inside the microwave.
Okay.
Yeah, eventually they concluded. They did their investigation, whatever. And the report that won the Darwin Award was that, she was late. She was trying to dry her hair really quickly. And she stuck her head in the microwave. And she cooked herself. Right? Darwin Award.
I have to ask, though, because it doesn't seem like a fast way to die. Right, so did
I
it
always
not
wondered
hurt
about
at a point
that.
like
I
I'm
always
getting a
wondered.
big
See,
headache?
that's the question because that microwave made it sound like it would have been fast. It
Right?
doesn't sound like something that you have time to consider. I think by the time you know it was a bad idea, you've burnt the
You're already
neurons
too
that
brain
would have done
dead
anything.
to understand, right?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
already you're already drooling a few seconds after you put your head in there.
You can't do anything.
Yeah. Oh well.
I wonder how much the door is actually helping. Like, is
I've
it
thought
just...
of that since, because the fucked up thing is here. My grandmother kind of scarred me with microwaves forever because when I was a kid, she said I had to stand away from the door of the microwave.
We
because-
had to move out of the room.
Well,
she would turn the microwave on and to make us leave
But
the
that's because
kitchen.
when
she
microwave
said-
showed up for her, you know,
Yeah.
for her, it was this evil new technology like
Exactly.
the 5G
Can you
right
close the
now.
door there, Pedro?
This evil new technology like the 5G right now that is going to kill people and do this and do that. She was afraid of it.
yeah.
And she
Well,
imparted that fear.
But the thing was, probably, yeah, I agree. Anyway,
yeah.
she would make us either stand out of the room, but she would say that it would explode. Not only would it have these radiations and things like that were emitting from it, she said that sometimes they exploded, so you had to be in the other room. So I grew up always standing behind a corner or making sure that I wasn't in direct view, and then slowly I started realizing that it was bullshit. Because I kept thinking about it. I'm like, how do people have things that just explode in their houses? And how many of these things have actually exploded, right?
Right.
I'm going to talk to people. Do you have a microwave in your house? Are you insane? Because my mother didn't help. My mother never had a microwave in the house when we were growing up because she said, oh, that gives you cancer and that gives you this and that.
Well, where
So
do you think
one-
your mother got it from?
Well, there you go. So my grandmother's telling me that it explodes. My mother is telling me that it's a death machine that gives me cancer. Meanwhile, I'm hiding behind a corner every time I need to reheat soup, right? This is the reality that I'm growing up with. And then you hand me this Frankenstein of an oven that works when I open the door. If I'm not afraid enough of this death machine, that did it for me.
Oh,
That was
right.
it.
I didn't know the backstory. I'm sorry. If I knew you had a fear of microwaves, oh damn it!
It's a
I would have
family
given
thing.
it to you.
It's a family thing. We all do.
Right.
Yeah. I don't have one. I don't use it. I don't trust
but
them.
I always grew
I
up
use
with
mine.
microwaves. I had microwaves always. Since
had
the early
microwaves
80s,
at
there were
my
always
dad's house.
microwaves in the house.
We had microwaves at my dad's house, and
You know,
that
but
was good.
and they
at
never
my
worked.
grandparents' house,
And they
we
were
had
always
it.
used for reheating stuff, never for
Yeah.
cooking.
Well, I used to reheat scones in it,
Yeah, but exactly.
and then you put butter on it.
Exactly,
It was
works
great.
very well.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was good. I like that. But they had a toaster. It's just shit that you don't understand when you're a kid. It's like, all right, I put it in the microwave for 2 minutes and it comes out mushy, but it's hot and I
Yeah.
can put butter on it.
It's not as
and
good
you don't
as putting it on
understand-
top of a toaster.
But I didn't understand that I could just put it in the toaster and it would take
You
the same
could.
amount of time. In my head, the microwave was faster. I didn't.
yes.
I don't know. I probably wasn't a very bright
It
kid or
isn't even
something.
faster because it isn't even that much
It's
faster.
the same amount of time,
Yeah.
probably.
No,
but
the
as a
microwave is
kid,
gonna
it
be
was
a
like
few
the microwave
seconds.
is faster.
Yeah.
And I never considered that, well, if you actually just wait a little bit, or even if it did take longer, like let's say it would take 30 seconds more, if you just
Yeah.
wait a little bit
You
more,
have
you actually have
actual
toast. And it's much better. And that kind of, yeah. I don't know. I used to put all sorts of shit. I used to get bread, hollow out the middle, put cheese and salami inside of it, and then put it in the microwave, and it would all melt and create this weird.
Yeah. Well, I still kind of do that.
It's a
I still
cordon
kind of
bleu.
do that with pita bread. I still kind of do that with pita
In
bread.
the microwave?
In the microwave.
nowadays I
and
just cook
cheese.
it.
Pita bread, butter, cheese, and sometimes ham. And the pita bread becomes, softer, much, much softer. And the cheese just melts in there. And I really like it. And I've tried it on the toaster and I prefer it in the microwave.
Do you have a grill in the oven?
I do.
That's good for making that.
I know, but I don't want it to be crunchy. I want it to be chewy. That's why I do it in the microwave.
But
I don't want it
you're the
crunchy.
person that's gone the complete 180 here, because I eventually grew out of that and went, I can just cook it and make it taste good instead of having this stuff. And
When I want
you're very
things
happily
to taste good, I'll go to the restaurant.
Exactly, but
Yeah.
and other
You'll
than
have
that,
someone
you're
who
very
knows.
fine with just
I'm
microwave
very fine with just eating
frozen
shit.
stuff.
Yeah, frozen
Yeah,
stuff and
yeah.
canned food. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Have you? How far do you go into canned foods? Like, what kind of canned foods do you eat?
I got no. I got some vegetables like green. I also okay. Simple. I always have green peas, corn.
But like cooked foods. You have
No,
like
no, no,
sardine.
like
canned
bacalhau.
No. I have
Sardines.
canned sardines. I have just yesterday.
Frozen
Just yesterday, I had
pizzas.
anchovies.
How do you eat canned sardines?
You just take them out and you put them on cookies or bread or whatever.
That's it. You don't like.
No, I might put some sauce on it, but that's it. That's it. Or canned sardines like anchovies are good in a salad.
My,
But-
my brother was buying stew, wasn't it? Stew or like
Chili.
Oh no, but I did no chili.
Yeah.
But I was gonna
Yeah.
get there. I always have a
Oh.
can of chili. I always have a can of bolognese. You know, I always have cans of baked beans.
They smell like dog
As-
food to me.
As
I don't give a
shitty
fuck.
as that food is, there's always a
works.
soft spot in my heart reserved for them because I can't tell you why. For some reason, certain things, the shit version of them is better.
It's better,
than the
exactly,
good one.
exactly. In canned foods, I once found, I never found them again, but while I was living in Autoria, which lasted for about 10 years, there was these what was it? It was cannellonis, right? Canned cannellonis, right? And they came as tubes, in the vertical, standing up in there, and they tasted the meat paste inside it was obviously some weird shitty meat paste, and you do not want to know what kind of stuff went into that meat.
It's canned dog food.
Exactly. You do not want to know what it is, but the mix of that and the sauce it came with and whatever was shitty, but was really, really good. It was a good kind of thing that obviously real cannellonis or whatever are better, but this was a version of it that is good unto itself. And worthwhile. I don't know, man.
And the only way that you can find these out is
got
by
used to it, I
trying the
guess.
shit. That's why you have to try the chili in the can.
I've tried it.
Yeah, but until you try it, you can't say, it's disgusting and it's ridiculous. You have to try sometimes the weird shit to find the good ones.
I tried canned dog food.
Yeah.
You know that sloppy.
Oh,
And I've tried these chili in a can.
Right.
Or like ragu.
But not
or
all
something
of
like
them.
That. No, but I've
Some
tried
of them, for some reason, which
some
is
of
I
them
think
all you
what
have to
you're
do is put
picking
a
up.
little bit of spice
is
on or something, and they're
Most of them
perfect.
are shit. Most of them
Yeah.
are
It tastes
horrible.
the same. It's
But-
like dog
No,
food.
no.
But every now and again, you find the right one. You find one that for some reason it's made by a brand that you've never
Yes.
seen before, and it's got a specific can and a certain filling that you do whatever you do with it, and
They're
it's
like
awesome.
the top end of canned
It's like those
dog
chocolate
food.
cookies
It
you
might
have here.
even be the worst ones. Like for me, the weirdest thing is the burgers, and I blame McDonald's for that. Shit burgers, frozen burgers, those that come in packs of 10 and stuff. I love them. I don't know what it is about them. I love
Really?
them. Oh, I love
hate
them.
them.
I love them.
I hate
They're
them.
awesome
They
because
don't taste like real meat to me.
exactly. But
you like that
I
taste?
love that. For
'Cause
me, an
McDonald's doesn't
actual
taste of meat.
burger,
Yeah, exactly,
a real
exactly.
burger is a different meal for me. Is a
Yeah.
different thing. It's like a different thing in your sandwich. And that frozen burger thing for me, it's one of the best things ever. I think because it's full of shit and fat and salt and sugar and I don't know, but I've always loved them. But
it's always
they're
hard
not
to-
all of them. So now every time I go shopping for this, and honestly, I haven't bought frozen burgers in ages because eventually I just move on. The butcher's there, he makes the burgers, I buy them there. It's easier and I cook them.
Yeah,
But
and they're better.
whenever I have to go and buy them, it's always
It's
an
a
adventure.
burger.
Yeah.
It's not better, it's just different.
Right.
It's just a
Right.
different experience. Like we did not so long ago. We
Yeah.
recreated the McDonald's burgers.
Yeah, no, but I understand. Like McDonald's and the real burger.
Yeah, I
When
know
you want
that- I
McDonald's, you
know-
want McDonald's.
I am
when you want
I
a
am
burger,
like-
it's something else.
I'm like
Yeah.
90% sure I have the ingredients that McDonald's uses. I know
You're
which
kidding.
ones
You
they
think you can recreate that
Yeah,
burger?
you can. You can. Yeah.
We did it. We
Oh,
did it.
you're kidding.
I'm
I want
serious.
to check
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
challenge.
I'm serious. I'll
Are
do
you
it.
kidding?
I'll do it with
It's
you.
not
No, no,
hard.
no.
It's
Which
not
one?
hard.
We're not going to reveal it because it's
No,
going
of
to be
course,
our
but
secret.
Of course. That's
The hardest
your
part
retirement
is
plan.
the hardest part is the
Yes.
bun. You need to
Yeah.
get the
The
good
bun is hard to get,
because
yeah.
those pre-made buns that you buy
They're
at the
crap.
supermarket they suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like, I know Saklinga has some pretty decent hamburger buns, but that's the hardest part to recreate.
But it's not what you're looking for.
The,
See,
the Ciclino ones are too
I'll give you this.
brioche-like.
The trick to it,
You know, they're a bit
honestly,
sweet. They're really
Yeah,
good, but
yeah.
not
They're
to
not the right
replicate
one.
McDonald's.
the
Yeah.
trick to it is it's got to be shit.
Yeah.
Like it's
Lidl.
all of those that look like they're replicating something that's really good and healthy for you are generally wrong. The one that's just a box and it says 10 burgers and doesn't specify if it's cow or pork or whatever, it just says 10 burger patty. Maybe it just says like 10 flats of meat or something like that.
Flats of
It's like
yeah.
sandwich
Flats of
filler.
Yeah, sandwich filler, yellow cheese-like substance, and then just buy some iceberg lettuce. And the bun is tricky because the shitty buns are dry,
Yeah, the shitty
and
bun.
they're not as good. And the size, you have to
Yeah.
get the size right.
Yeah.
But there are. I am pretty sure. I'm
Then
like
you need-
90%. I believe that. I'm 90%
Pickles
away.
for the Big Mac. Then you need the pickles. You
Yeah.
need the raw onions,
Yeah.
and you need the burger sauce.
Yeah.
Right.
And the burger sauce, you can buy the same one. It's what is it, Heinz or something?
I think it depends on whatever. I
Yeah.
think it was
For
Heinz.
the
It's
Big
Heinz.
Mac.
It's Heinz.
McDonald's.
Yeah, it's the
Heinz.
same one.
Yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
sauce that they
Yeah.
have in the Big Mac.
Yeah. And it's
Right.
cool. The fun thing about McDonald's nowadays is like a lot of the ingredients that they're using, well, not a lot, but some of the toppings that they're using are locally required.
Right.
So like the onions, if you just get an onion at any supermarket here and you dice it, that's going to be pretty much
Similar
the
to
same thing
the
they're using
onions
there.
you're used to.
The lettuce,
Right,
if you
of
get
course.
like packaged iceberg lettuce,
Yeah, they're not
it's gonna
importing
be
the
pretty
lettuce
much
from the
same
U.S.
thing.
Obviously.
No.
So there you go. But if you use a real burger in it, if you try using meat,
It's
and you
not
go,
going to be McDonald's.
it's not
Yeah.
the same thing, and you're gonna ruin that burger by putting all that
So
sauce
with
and
your
shit on it.
crappy,
Yeah.
crappy frozen burgers, you think you can recreate McDonald's?
I'm
That's what you're
90%.
saying.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the
90%
fries,
sure.
the fries are McCain's. You can
Yeah.
buy them.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a deal with McCain's, and they buy it. They
It's
use
not
them.
Yeah, but the
fries,
fries, there's got to be some secret because the fries in McDonald's, for me, are the best part.
Yeah,
It's a deep
You double
fryer.
fry it.
It's not just a
The
deep
trick
fry.
is the
It's
double
fry. It's
fry.
the double frying
Yeah.
and resalting and whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be
this
something
is-
like that.
Trust
I always
me.
thought it had to do with the oil or...
I have a weird fascination with this shit that's driven along the years into this obsession that has been recreating
McDonald's?
shit. Burgers, around burgers.
burgers,
Because at
okay.
the same time, my dad makes awesome burgers. He has his own recipe for hamburgers. And I learned it off of him pretty quick. And then me and some friends, we did the Kurger challenge. You know,
Right,
it's not a
I've
challenge.
heard of
We-
it.
We've
I've seen
done the
pictures and
Kurger.
stuff.
Once a year, generally, at least, we get together, we make a 1 kilo hamburger.
Yeah.
And it's been just one giant hamburger. We've done we've done 2 1 kilo, we've done 3 1 kilo, then we divided them into, like, we had theme days we did the 2 towers for Lord of the Rings.
Right.
So
then how
it's
do you
all
eat
fresh.
that? Like
But
a
there-
pie, right? You're going to take chunks out of the burger?
It all depends on how deep and down dirty you want to get to it. So nowadays, the latest ones we've been doing are like the 2 towers, or if you make a big one, you use individual buns because then you
Okay.
can just slice it and you just eat off of it.
Okay.
Because the biggest issue again was the bread. How are you going to make a
yeah,
burger bun?
We tried that
big?
too.
Right.
We tried several times to make bread from scratch
Yeah.
and followed all sorts of recipes. I couldn't do it.
Right.
So we just gave up. And
What do you
we
mean you
did
couldn't do it? The bread wasn't the right bread, you mean?
Yeah.
making a massive burger bun that would
Right.
fit that, because it's like the size of a normal dinner plate, at least, if not bigger, depending on what
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
idea of a dinner plate is. It's a big piece of meat.
Of course, 1 kilo.
And it's a thick piece of meat, right? And you need a burger bun that's big and light and fluffy like the ones that you're used to
so
getting.
your solution was several
Yeah,
normal burger
at the end
buns,
of the day,
course.
because again, you're going to be eating them individually anyway.
Yeah.
And most of it is just for that wow factor when you're taking the picture.
1
And
kilo
we
burger,
did that
yeah.
the first time. The bread sucked, so we figured we'll just make the big burger and then use these patties. But we've wrapped it in bacon weaves. We've cooked it with bacon bits inside, because that's the cool thing.
you can put a lot of stuff inside, yeah.
With those burgers, we literally make them from scratch.
Right.
So that's where we get the mixtures and we get the seasonings and, you know, the sauces and everything. So it's weird. I've got the 2 opposite ends of the spectrum, but for me they're opposite foods. One is a burger and another one is like McDonald's, or they've just got the same name.
Yeah.
What's the name for the words? 2 words that mean something else but are spelt the same way.
It is a... No, it's not synonym. It is...
You know what it is, Pith?
I don't remember. Can't remember right now.
Huh? Homogeneous?
No. No.
Homogeneous? I don't know. Whatever. Anyway,
Yes.
that.
That.
That's
McDonald's
what it
isn't
is.
a burger. It's McDonald's.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
why you go there.
Exactly.
Because
And those
nothing else tastes like
those
it.
frozen meat slabs are frozen meat slabs. They're
Yeah.
not burgers,
Yeah.
but they're delicious.
I hesitate to call them meat slabs.
Yeah, it's
like
barely meat,
greasy
right?
slabs of sandwich
I'm
filling.
It doesn't
Sure, it
matter.
has meat
All
in
it
there.
matters to me is that it tastes good. That's all I care.
If I found out that
it-
those were tofu, I would be ecstatic.
Exactly. Man, if I found out it was cockroaches, I don't care.
Yeah,
as long
exactly.
as
I'd
if
be really
they can
happy.
make it taste this good, I'm
Yeah.
fine with that.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be cows. It can
No.
be whatever you want.
Yeah,
if it tastes this good and it looks like this, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Remember when a while back, a few years ago, there was a big scandal because the people were saying they were throwing baby chickens into the nuggets, like just to
Right,
come out with that chicken paste.
Well,
Like, Nuggets didn't stop selling.
No, of course not.
People want more nuggets.
Of course not.
Because they're delicious.
But you know the craziest thing about the nuggets that I'm ashamed almost to admit that I learned way too late? There are only like 4 or 5 nugget shapes.
Yeah.
All of the nuggets are shaped exactly the same way between those 4 or 5 molds.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
never even paid attention to the shapes.
Exactly. I hadn't thought of the shapes.
I thought they were just irregular shapes.
Exactly.
No.
And then it was like last year that I saw a post about it, and it's like there's 4 or 5 shapes.
Maybe
that
you have
nuggets
4 or
are
5
ever
shapes
in.
to make it look like they are irregular. But they aren't
Exactly.
irregular
That's
because
it.
they're just printed.
That's
they're
exactly
just pressed.
it. It's exactly.
They're just
yeah.
pressed.
They're
in
pressed
a chain.
in this shape, and they're all the same. And since then,
Yeah,
every
of
time I
course.
get nuggets, it's fucked with my ability to eat nuggets.
I
Because
rarely
now there's
eat
a whole
nuggets,
other
so-
realm around them of like,
I don't care about the nuggets. I don't go there for
trust
nuggets.
you anymore.
If I want chicken, I'll go to
but
KFC.
nuggets are so-
Exactly.
Again, nuggets aren't chicken.
I
They
know,
are
but I don't care
nuggets.
about the
Yeah.
nuggets.
You
And
don't?
I do care about chicken.
Yeah.
I
well,
miss
there you go.
Eugene's.
Nuggets.
Eugene's in Alabama.
Who's Eugene's?
Not Alabama.
What's Eugene's?
Eugene's. Was it Alabama?
Is it a chicken place? Well, Alabama would be
Fuck,
the
I'm
right
gonna get
place
in
for
so
the
much
fried,
trouble
the
for
good
forgetting
fried
this.
chicken.
No, hang on. I remember where it was. Eugene's. We stopped in
You
Nashville
remember.
before that. I will remember because I think it was Alabama.
Was this with Guy?
Birmingham. Yeah, Birmingham. Birmingham,
Birmingham?
Alabama. Yeah,
Okay.
Birmingham, Alabama,
gonna go
which
with
had the
that?
nickname of Bombington because back during the civil rights movement, I think it was one of the spots on the Freedom Tour.
Okay.
One of the last spots, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
They had like public churches bombed out, black churches bombed out. It was a horrible place in that era of history, and the whole city is built around it, and it's pretty heavy.
And now
But
they have fried chicken.
it's really weird because that was the only motel we stayed at in our whole trip where we were kind of afraid to stay there. And because we were going for the cheapest of the cheap shit because we're European and we're idiots and we think everything is the same. And then we get there and it's sketchy as fuck. It's like, it's late already. It's all pitch dark. It's like an apartment complex in the middle of like a highway network of subsystems and gutters and shit like that. So opposite a car stand that doesn't have any of the cars out. It's all, and then there you've got like 3 or 4 random people spread out throughout the motel, lights failing, and there's clearly a lot of drugs involved and at least 3 hookers. There's just this whole aura of it. And I had to go, look, it's all right. If it were during the day, it would look fine. It's just because it's nighttime and there's all this around it. If it were during the day, we wouldn't give a shit. So let's just get it over with. We put our shit there. And I think it was
Nighttime
Pedro
scary.
Freire that looked up fried chicken because I'm like, we're in the right place for fried chicken, right?
Yeah.
Alabama and
South
of the, yeah.
should
Or
be.
I might be ignorant in this, but at least that was the connection
sounded
for
like
me.
it, yeah.
And he found Eugene's, and we went to Eugene's, and it's just this corner shop. I think they had a truck at the time that went out and then also did it. But when we got there, it was just a corner shop that looked like a deli or something, just corner with some nothing special. But then we had the chicken there, and the flavor that you got from, first of all, it was, oh man, I can't even begin to describe it. The flavor that was just in the seasoning around it.
Yeah.
All of the seasoning had
Yeah.
tons of flavor and spice and all sorts of things. Big pieces of
You're
chicken.
making me hungry.
Oh man,
You're making me hungry.
It was so good,
Isn't
and
it
was
sad that we can't get good
These
fried
pretzels.
chicken
It
here?
was really the
They're making me
perfect.
hungry.
It was the perfect thing to end that night because we were kind of feeling shitty, and then we got there, and it was the perfect thing. And I've never even looked at chicken the same since I knew that it could taste like that. It was like, we have to step up our game. That is just surreal. There were several things: the chicken there and the brisket in Texas, in Austin. That was something else.
meat.
I think we should take a break. And
I
have
think we
dinner.
should end. It's like we've been doing this
Okay.
for 3 hours.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Again with this? Okay.
It's been 3 hours and 12
Jesus.
minutes.
It goes by quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a
Okay.
good place to end. Fried chicken. We're gonna go and eat
Yeah.
not fried chicken.
No. I brought pork.
Hey, it's not bad.
No. I
There's
hope it
meat
isn't.
involved. We're in a
Intermiade.
pandemic.
Intermiade, perfeito.
Yeah, Portugal's the right place to eat. Pig.
Yeah,
Yeah. How would you
Anyway.
say intermeado in English? What the hell is it?
I don't know, actually. It's the meat between the ribs, right?
Big, beautiful strands of lard and meat.
Yeah, a
I
very
don't know.
fatty cut of the meat.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.